let's wait for people coming in because this live stream takes others to engage. Taking my supplements. Hello, Katsuki. I bet you already watched the UFC 329 event. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, to be honest, I woke up late. So I woke up by the time the Corey Sanhagen versus um, Bautista fight started, and that was probably the best fight. Then you had Patty just finishing Saint Denis like within the first 30 seconds, and then yeah, like Connor, what was that? Why was that? I bet that wasn't the plan of the team. It's just something that Connor just did off, like, just thinking that he's, doesn't have that injury for some reason, or like that past injury, and thinking that he's younger. I don't know. Like, Connor is Connor. He's always going to be a Connor, but that was so irrational. Like, man. Mankind was so short-timed. Yeah, it was. For Palestine, for McGregor. Same. Hi, Starborn. Hello. Hi, guys. Basically, hope you're doing well. I'm a little bit sleepy. Had sparrings yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, but did the live stream. Love the new team. Gotta give you my feedback about the yesterday as well. I was reflecting and thinking that it was first time I felt really welcomed in the team, and that's technically my former opponents, but I'm kind of person who doesn't hold grudges. For me, it was kind of, no, I like their attitude, their approach, what I learned from Karina, and I was happy to join them, but they welcomed me so well that I realized that in my experience of going different gyms and doing boxing, never had anything like that. That's as much as I love fighting community, and I think it's one of the greatest communities. This is something that that's the toxic part of it. Not all gyms and all teams are welcoming. Okay, let's go through the questions, guys. Let's have a talk. Feel bad for Connor. Like, I mean, Max felt. I think everyone felt bad. It didn't feel good, but that was irrational. I mean, they're supposed to have one more fight in the contract, and if that happens, and it's probably gonna be McGregor versus Holloway 3, kind of to settle it and make a good hype out of it. Connor needs to realize he's not that young boy anymore, and he can't. I think it's possible. It's always possible to win or do the good fight if approached correctly. You know what I mean? And I think he needs to be more careful now. You look brunette, not red. Well, it's under specific light, but trust me, this cannot get more ginger at least. With the silverbacks will work, No, it's all fine. You can also rewatch it, and they're so okay with it. They were like also engaging in the live stream. Like the owner of the gym was like, "Oh, here, like Karina, come to the training." She was a little bit late, so he's like talking, thinking that maybe she would watch. Anyways, guys are awesome, super funny, super cool. It was like a mixed sparring, so MMA would spar with MMA, boxing was boxing, but no, it was wonderful. And I already learned from the single session. They gave me certain little hooks and little tricks that is kind of a part of professional boxing, and all of a sudden I started using those and they worked, and it was good. It's like that's the kind of sparring sessions you want. You want to have a clear communication, and you want a clean progress. I'm having a husband. He's right here. Babe, you're there? Yeah, he's there. Everyone who watches me for a while, they know that I have a husband. His name is Chris, and he shows up in the live streams too, here and there, especially in the chat. How many money you need for training? It depends where you are, but it's not necessarily the most.
Need any money at all, so just use the money.
Well, it's our money, yeah? Our money, because I contribute to. I mean, he makes more at this point, but I do the commissions, I coach online, and do some other, like I'm more like a quest person. I do see different side quests, and I contribute to. I'm from Georgia, the country, same country as Merab Dvalishvili, by the way, and Tapuria brothers originally, and well, you name any famous Georgians that you know. Belarus, best life. Okay, hello. Well, I heard it's very interesting. I know some Belarusians here. Yeah, the RAF, RAF win, Merab. Merab was winning 8-0 to Cejudo in the beginning, and then he adapted. Merab is just like, he has that grip. Like, if he gets a hold of you, he wins with that endurance, with that resilience. So, I was happy to see that. Hi, Texas. Howdy. What's my favorite dessert? Oh, that's a hard question. I have desserts for each day of the week. I love all desserts. Right now, I'm obsessed over carrot. I know you're laughing over there. I'm obsessed over the carrot cake. Sometimes it's apple pie, sometimes it's cheesecake. I'm not really a fan of tiramisu for some reason, but like, yeah, they're. You're laughing over there. I know. Yes, I know. I'm a goofball. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. As long as you learn and have fun. Oh yeah, that's the most important, because the sport is brutal anyways. Combat sports are brutal, so you need to enjoy it, right? Okay, appreciate you guys. How is it going, Diana? Thank you, Andy. It's going well. Started on training again. From the next week, more consistent live streams, both artwork, the paintings, and training as well, and the group classes and sparrings once a week. I'm gonna pretty much try to live stream all of it. Hi, Brazil. Hello. New sub from the Middle East. Okay, welcome. Appreciate it. Just don't spam, guys. Okay, that's the only. Yeah, that's the only request. I'm strong. Yeah, I really got stronger. I think I'm having quite good definition in my upper body. The stream's so cool. Thanks. Well, feel free to ask questions. Kalashnikov and free vodka. I don't drink though. I'm Georgian. I'm from the country of the wine, but ironically, I don't drink alcohol. And yet, if I would drink anything, that would be a little bit of wine. Elizabeth Benedice. Oh, it's like from the what's the Pride and Prejudice. I'm more of a detective lady. If I read for entertaining, I read detectives. Please say some fact about your country. I have zero information about this. Okay, Georgia is the country of wine, the oldest country of the wine. It's like 8,000 years of history. The country on its own is around 2,000 years. It's quite old. What else we have? We have great food. We have one of the best folk, like 7 voice singing. Like very, very advanced folk singing. Georgian dancing is quite incredible. Our athletes in specific like strength focused fields are quite good. So judo, rugby, wrestling, MMA now, you like Merab Valishvili. Levan Choheli just signed the contract and won his UFC debut via knockout. Topurias, Alexandra Ilya and Alexandra Topurias. Then you have Levan Saginashvili, arm wrestling. Lasha Talahadze, the strongest weightlifter in the world, Olympic gold medalist, many multiple time, and world record holder in the power clean power snatch. So those are a few facts about Georgia. It's a country that's bordering Russia and Turkey. From the north, it's Russia. From the south, it's Turkey, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. And from west, it's Black Sea. And from the east, it's Azerbaijan. What do you do? MMA? No, I do boxing. I watch MMA. I like mixed martial arts. I've done different, like done BJJ here and a little bit MMA there, but boxing has been something I've been focusing the most. Hi, awesome Yash. Welcome back. How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you very much. You predicted. I haven't been really predicting that much before. Sometimes I do lies where I predict and before the event happens, but not this time. Okay. Yes, Georgian flag. I see. Hope you have a blessed night. Well, it's already morning, but thank you. Yes, what the hell happened? Did Connor forgot to do strength training? He just did like this first sprint, and he tried to do a high kick or something, and landing that. That's where he got that injury. But to be in his defense, in that sense, tibia and fibia, complete fracture. So alongside with the Anderson Silva's like same injury. It was one of the most brutal ones in the UFC,
and
in the MMA.
And others, no one has ever come back from one of those.
Yeah, and if you come back, you cannot be the same. You cannot be same flying all over McGregor. Like he had to take it more seriously in the sense of, but that's the thing. I think it was so much hype, and it was so like he felt great on the training, and But that's the thing, before the fight, the closer it gets to the fight, the training needs to build your confidence. So you don't really do that much of the hard training anymore, at least you shouldn't. So that's probably was the case, and then all of a sudden he just does this, and he knocks him out like himself, literally. But this is what we're talking about, ring rust. I mean, because he have not fought consistently, I think he also forgot, like he underestimated his injury impact and a lot of other things, and boom, that's what happened.
Yeah, I'm not trying to shit on McGregor, but like 5 years away from the game, from a massive injury like that, then steroids and drugs, and like I said this.
Well, when you tell a Georgian about that Russian is number one, we don't necessarily like that. Nothing particular against just Russian people. I have quite friends and people that I know are great Russian people, but Georgia and Russia has a long negative history. We're never ever gonna agree on certain things. You know what I mean? Georgia has the best hinkali. Well, hinkali is Georgian. Like, there you have some other foods that are different variations, and like Georgian hinkali is hinkali. Like I think everyone in the Caucasus region agrees that it's Georgian. Haven't had my breakfast yet. I'm quite late when it comes to breakfast. I don't eat early breakfast often, unless I have to train early morning. Hey, hello, Gabby. Welcome back. Gabby says hi, babe.
Yeah.
Oh, you already did. Let's take a moment and appreciate Paddy's win today. Good for him. Yeah, Paddy's win, good for him, absolutely. And the guy proved again that um, I would have controversial feelings about Paddy. There's some sides I really like about him. Some things he would piss me off, but then um, he's a character. But he's also dangerous. He proved now that after Gagey loss, he showed, okay, everyone kind of knocked him off, including me to a certain extent. But then Gagey wins, becomes a champion, like beats Taporia, even worse technically. So Paddy being like kind of cool and taking it gracefully with Gage even right after the loss, and then saying that I'm coming back, I'm gonna train. So at least definitely he's tough mentally. He's not like as people thought that he would be breakable in that sense. I don't think he is, and he's dangerous, man. He has that killer's instinct. That's what happened. The Saint Denis just made a mistake. He went quite good and aggressive, but you see what happened. If that was a Paddy, that maybe wouldn't happen to the French. But he just got his neck, and when he put the legs over it, it rolled over and like choked him out unconscious. That was brutal. Like, don't mess with Paddy when it comes to like, don't underestimate his ground game. You know. Love Ireland, like Georgia. I love Ireland. I have a huge respect for Irish people. Okay, all news are terrorists. Can disagree. Just try to watch different independent media because, yeah, it's everybody and everything can try to brainwash us. Have you already been beaten by Amanda Nunes? I would definitely be crushed by her. Even in the boxing match with her experience, I think she would be a very difficult matchup. It's like you would really need to get specifically to her. And I'm still like I just debuted in professional boxing. I didn't win my fight, but I befriended my opponent and moved to her team. And now I had some trainings with them sparring session, and I like know that they have what I need. And yeah, now my the whole goal is to just stack up some fights and do it smart and do my best to win all of them and create a good confidence boost, the experience. Gain and also evolving, like leveling up gradually too. And after like that certain type of experience, then so right now I'm in the stage of working on the things that actually going to work for my style, for my stature the most. And it's very fun. It's very fun to do it right now. It's also fun to do it with your former opponent who you lost to, who is like tells you your strong sides, like, and what was working, and like in the sparrings also things that work, and it's like, so I like that in the training. It's just a hype, you know. And I also like she got me like a good close to solar plex punch, and I felt it. It wasn't like devastating, but I felt it, and I was like yeah, good one. And then I did like pinned like uppercut to the head, and like a loose uppercut, and it was good. And she was like, yeah, that's good, like I'm gonna tell you when it's like really good. And so I really respect athletes like that. And yeah, that's sport, baby. There's no need to hold grudges. I think it's completely normal to if it's needed, you can move to a team and your opponent's team even, especially if they're welcoming to you, you know. Okay. You're gonna go to sleep, Gabby. Okay, well, I'm glad that you showed up, and have a good night. Are you a true redhead? No, I'm not, but I'm the one at heart. I subscribed. You seem to be a very kind person. Hope to see you soon. You have a good and blessed day, everyone. Hey, Bulka, thank you very much, or Bilka. Appreciate it, and you have a blessed day too. What's your accent? I don't know. It's you can consider it. It's like Eastern European, I would say. But I'm like self-taught in English, and my husband's Norwegian with almost like American accent, generic accent. So I picked some of the accent from him, I guess, and it changes depending who I talk to. But because my first languages are Georgian and Russian fluently, so I think I have some of the, you know, accent running through. Scottish. Hi, Pablo. A Georgian accent is a little bit rough, like something like this, and Russian accent is something like just uh, just it sounds something like this, and English. This is more generic. I think it's not too bad. Are you a fighter? I'm a boxer. I'm from Georgia. That's correct. Madame, I like you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm married though, guys, just letting you know. And my husband is right here. He's in the chat as well. And he's also a moderator, so he can kick you out if it's needed. But we usually don't do that. Like, we just want people to engage, but let's keep it respectful and with a little bit of common sense. Her English is very good, by the way. Bye, y'all. Thank you. Have a good one, Bilka. I hope you have a great day too. Practice taekwondo, karate, and kendo. I don't know the last one, but I've done karate. Before boxing, I did go to do karate. I competed a little bit. It was fun. This is how basically where I learned to do the kicks. So I still know how to do it. Just haven't really practiced it properly. Where are you from? I'm from Georgia, Tbilisi. Is it true what they say about red hats? They say many things about red hats. Which one you mean? Fridge check. Show us the fridge. Some chicken, no, I'm not gonna show my fridge. There are a lot of, like, in the fridge when you have some dead like leftovers of the product, is like, kill me, like begging you, like this like I haven't cleaned the fridge in a while. Just listening. Okay. Gorgeous, thank you. Hello, South India, welcome. Say something in Russian. Привет, как дела? Меня зовут Diana. I said hi, hello, how are you? My name is Diana. I had a co-worker who was Russian and lived in Ukraine for 7 years before he came to Canada, and he was also self-taught English. You're both extremely talented from what I can tell. Oh, thank you. Well, one thing I can tell you, that when you learn second or third language independently, and especially if it's English, as one of the biggest languages and most international language in the world, when you become fluent in it, you really broaden your thinking and the horizons and everything. You, like, when I would know only Georgian and Russian, there was a certain frame, the certain box I would be in, certain type of sense of humor, certain type of culture, and that was it. Yes, in Russian there is a lot of I've been exposed to a lot of Hollywood and a lot of things like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, but all translated in Russian. And as much as they do a great job, Russian dubs is one of the best in the world, I think. But at the same time, it doesn't give you, you're still in that frame. And when you learn English and over time you start getting fluent in it, things change. When you can access information in English, it's like a whole different world. I also can read. I'm very happy that I found out that I recently got the Kindle Paperwhite, just to, I don't know, lately I've been more into like creating art and having quality time, and like I was like, well, why not to read? And it really helped me even before the fight preparation, like as the like meditated through. So I can read both in Russian, easy, Georgian, but now in English as well. So like I'm reading some of the detectives that are like British English, and no problem of understanding it. So I'm very happy about that. As a boxer, as a mixed martial artist, you gotta train your brains too. Chris, thoughts on performance in of Norway in the World Cup? Anything to say, babe?
Yeah, no, they did great. They should have won that last one too. It was sibling there, but good effort for sure.
Yeah, there are some controversies I see. Like we haven't watched it. To be honest, we're not really a soccer or such football fans in that sense, but we were really interested in Norway, and we would watch it if it wasn't too late for us. Like it was like 3 a.m. in the morning, and we were just sleeping at that time. But yeah, I heard there was a little bit. Some people think that the referee that fall was incorrect. Some people think that Haaland made a mistake. So, but like I cannot really give opinion on that one because I haven't first of all seen it, and second of all I'm not as qualified to be objective in this case. I got shot, rough fights, RAF fights, Turkian and Marab. Yeah, both won, and good for them. I think RAF is like a good field to be active for fighters who are like a wrestling based. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I like we all clearly know that Dana doesn't like Tarukian, but he is like there's a lot of what ifs, like Paddy versus Arman, and Ilya versus Arman, and even Gagey versus Arman would be like so. Like I think they cannot avoid it anymore. And I'm not a fan of Arman necessarily, but just to be fair in this case, like, and the lightweight is stuck to right now. Like, who do we have? Mo Reacher is coming up, back like on the good wing streak, and I think he has quite a great potential. And yeah, they're like so much going on, so they cannot just keep Sarukian off there and just not let him fight at all. It just doesn't make sense. Common sense on YouTube. I think YouTube is still a better platform than some others. That's what I would say. Hi, Dallas. Hello. Do you have a soul? Somewhere, I guess I do. Does your husband have any martial art experience? Well, he started training together with me. Some very little experience, like in childhood judo, but my husband's specialty was actually he was in extreme sports, proximity wingsuit fight and base jumping. That's what he would do. Quite incredible, if you ask me. He survived his crash, which is one of the few people that ever did that, and he hadn't done it since at that scale, but yeah, then that was a period there, like when he was recovering and survived a lot of other things like coma and gastrointestinal tumor that they found in while he was in coma. So all of that surgery done, recovery made, and then he moved to Georgia, and this is where we met when he was still recovering. And yeah, we just been doing great together. We've been supporting and training together, supporting each other, training together. He's been he's like a rock for me. Like everything that I can do right now, boxing, artwork, YouTube, is because of him. It's thanks to him I ever dared to do those things and keep doing them. So, and he's in quite a great health right now. So that's also great. We both are in well, for me, I'm in the best shape of my life, also thanks to him. He's my strength and conditioning coach as well. and nutrition and supplementation and sleep, everything that like is around the sport, like boxing. And I've been his boxing coach, and you know, we just he's in quite a great shape himself as well right now. Khabib Nurmagomedov said it before. Conor McGregor will never return to his former self. This is the proof. Well, it's not a rocket science to say that. Well, the guy was the tibia and fibia break after 5 year complete break, and also with his lifestyle, which is not, it wasn't like he was doing a GSP type of lifestyle and training all this time. He was like partying and ending up in some controversies and scandals. So what did you expect? People don't come back same young selves as they used to be. The only thing would be like I would see and would be interesting is that to see if he would adapt to his age and change his game slightly and actually, you know, because what wins fights is the style and strategy and the sometimes it's not as flamboyant anymore, but it's possible. We have some comebacks in both in MMA and boxing. Yeah.
If Starborn wants to be moderator.
Yeah.
Starborn wants to be moderator.
Okay, I'm just gonna make him a moderator.
No, don't make more. Ask if they want to.
Ah, okay. Well, I thought Starborn, if you want to be a moderator, I can make you a moderator. You've been around for quite some time, and yeah, if you want to, it would be great. Dark speed. Try to learn 15 times. Could not. It's difficult. I mean, you were typing in English, I think, or my phone shows at least.
Starborn says, I don't mind.
Okay. Once Belgium, twice France, once USA here. Well, good for you, Michael. I wish to travel a little bit more in the future too. Oh crap, you're the girl boxer that paints. And that's exactly, ladies and gentlemen, how I want to be known in the future. That's just, oh, that girl boxer that paints, or that artist that boxes. Like, yeah, I love it. Thank you, Captain, for that comment. Arman is a streamer. Let him stream. I mean, as long as you train and you're a good fighter, who cares? That's how you do it in the modern life now. Like, look at me, I'm streaming and I'm showing you how I'm trying to become a good boxer. I've been in Australia, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Arctic and Antarctica. That's super cool, David. My husband is from Norway, but we never been in Norway yet. But yeah, in the next few years, there's going to be some visits, and obviously we'll plan to be closer to that part of the world, more like between Georgia and Norway. So we'll be able to see you more of the Georgia, more of the Norway. Will be cool. Holy world traveler, even Australia. Oh, that's cool. Conor is done for good now. 329, probably biggest disappointment ever. You can't say one of the, but he has a one fight contract. He still has, I think, one fight in the contract left. So I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna do the third one, or what they're gonna try to do. One thing I know, Conor cannot like perform that way anymore. Like, he needs to accept that he has that injury. He's not younger. He wasn't active. He needs to really approach it from a different way. Be a little bit smarter, you know, rather than the flamboyant. Make Europe European again. Amen. Oh, cool. I hope I can start sparring. Just do it gradually. Sparring, like the transition from regular training to the sparring, is like the whole process, and just take it as like now with the last sparring, for example, like when me and Karina was saying, there was no ego. We would literally communicate. She communicated with me something, I communicated with her something. We even communicate how we feel today and how hard we can go, or and just generally going too hard on the head is just no go. Body shots is more acceptable, obviously going harder, but that's the thing. We work, we pause, we rest, we identify, okay, next round, how we gonna work, and then others give us some, the coach give us some the instructions too, and well, things that work well, and giving little tips there, here and there. So put the ego aside, make sure that you're in the team where they enjoy playful sparring and technical and light sparring, and that's how you start, because that's how your brain trains reflexes. You don't train your reflexes under the hard pressure. What happens instead, your brain creates the resilience. Sorry, resistance, not resilience. Resistance. So that resistance actually stops you from developing certain patterns. Yeah, Max the Blessed one won. Something I did with my eyebrows? No, it just maybe needs to be a little adjustment, but it's just the way it is. Howdy. I hope I'm not too late. Hi, Chris. Welcome back. No, you're here. Okay, Starboard. Here you are. I was just looking for you. Okay, there we go. Girl boxer who paints. Yes, I like that. Have you seen Tal Hicks' artwork? I'm not sure, actually. Maybe I've seen, and I didn't know that it's the Hicks artwork. Did you watch Connors? Yes, I watched it. And yeah, this, like, what can I say? That was a silly start. It's like, I mean, I would be careful. Like, it's just hard for me to imagine. Maybe it didn't bother him for a long time, but man, when I know that I have this injury, I need to kind of rebuild the game plan around that. So I don't know, what was that. Norway is a dream destination for me. Yeah, I mean, it's for a lot of people. Okay, I'm keep scrolling up. Some questions are repeating, so. Argentina is through to the semifinals. Congratulations. Conor adapted too much boxing after Floyd fight. He should base his fighting styles through boxing. What I know, he needs to be more like harder on his feet and more stable on his feet, because with that injury he had, you see, he can just jump around and do the weird stuff. Yeah, some people say, oh, it was just unfortunate, like anything can happen. No, that kind of fall with the healthy leg wouldn't be necessarily the worst injury. Maybe just a little strain, but because the pressure came on that exactly the injury spot, it's just he can't just jump around like that anymore. That's the point. You still can build a good game plan and good, because still you have timing. You can get set in the good distance. You can do. I'm not saying that would be easy against Max Holloway. I'm just saying that generally it's possible to kind of readjust the style towards it and still keep it efficient. It just, the old Conor that we knew, we gotta accept, and he needs to accept that he cannot do those things anymore. Just physically cannot do it. First of all, because of his past injury. If he would have just came out with his boxing, mixing in some normal kicks, like low kicks, or maybe some like something like, well, low kick on his troubled leg, maybe not, but the other one at least could have won the fight, or make it a good fight at least. Instead, that fly kick. Well, it was very in the Conor's manner though. Like, we gotta say, it was very Conor style, that like, oh, just go reckless. Just before it would work because he was at his peak of his performance. Now he's not at the peak. He's not in his prime anymore. We've seen people winning spectacular fights after their prime. It's not about, oh, you're in prime, that's the only thing. But what it means is that you cannot just physically do everything that you could before without paying a price anymore. You know what I mean? So that's just basically the point here. Okay. I'm good at boxing, no lie. Yeah, good for you, Jim. Conor Rapper legs McGregor. Yeah, I was surprised what was going on, and then I realized he had that injury. But I mean, it's injury. It's a tough one. I mean, I I don't particularly feel like laughing at it, but I mean, internet's gonna always be an internet.
I'm sorry, but when you take 5 years off fighting and you do party and coke and steroids and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah. That's why I don't judge specific particular. I'm just like I'm gonna still avoid that, you know. Yeah, Connor been doing coke for 5 years, and facts. I think Connor, in a lot of things, actually ruined his own self by himself. It's kind of it's different personalities, I guess, different choices in life, but not all people do that. You have some people on top who choose completely different paths, and there are others. So I guess it's just it's individual and hard to predict. Honestly, Connor should just fight like yeah, barely any kicks except some low kicks and maybe possibly because he's. But gotta remind you, like he's like 175 and his reach is as tall as long as Chris. Is 188 arm span. That's quite nuts. So that could be even just that only could be used as such a great advantage. Like yeah, he was always known for the great movement, so, and with his extra span, he would cover a lot of distance while getting in, getting out, countering. You know, like he would reach you from anywhere. But again, that footwork is not something that he can do safely anymore. So. He didn't hurt the leg he broke back in 2021 he didn't hurt the leg that he broke in 2021 tonight. That's actually an interesting take because I didn't double check it. Babe, can you double check that?
I'm fairly certain because it was his right leg in the front that got injured, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and the one he broke back in the day was his left power leg.
Okay, so it's two different legs.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
well
the
then.
tibia, I'm almost certain was in the same leg that he delivers his southpaw.
Oh, okay, so that was even more silly. That's Jesus Christ. Okay, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing it up. And yeah, then it's like, yeah, it was I guess bad landing. That happens, but why would even do that? The closest thing and the recent one was Pantoja's like arm elbow break. Remember he like fell in a bad way. He also did some sort of kick or like I don't remember exactly, but he was doing something, and then he fell on his elbow and it's done. So yeah, I mean. And at though like at the like past 30 getting those kind of like doing those kind of things, it's just the risk. So yeah, silly situation. How did my day start? It's all right. Um, yeah, I guess I've got to be really humble and conservative with the starting, sparring, especially with better opponents. I would also like to jump into the quicker and just tap in. Yeah, fair enough. What kind of sparrings are you talking about? Are you talking about MMA sparrings, which is involves everything? Just try. I would suggest you actually start from boxing and kicks. If you want to transit to MMA, that's even a little bit. It's even more nuanced because you still need to start from boxing. Like you, as an MMA fighter, you can have just a boxing sparring uh, in MMA style, and then it can be full striking, meaning like not even full striking, but like just kickboxing. Then it can be, then you add a little bit of more like knees and Muay Thai or uh, uh, what's it called, the Dutch kickboxing. And yeah, and then you gradually add up other things, you know. Um, so yeah, you also can wrestle separately and then kind of combine it together. If you're talking about just boxing, then it's better to spar with experienced fighters, but the ones that don't have that ego thing, that they don't try to raise their ego and have that satisfaction just by beating you up. Unfortunately, in boxing culture, that's a common thing. So I just suggest you to avoid that. Don't care about what others think, especially for now, that where you need to build up the patterns. You need someone who is experienced enough, who knows how to control their punch and know how to work. But at the same time, they're gonna work for you. So they're gonna give you just enough in the beginning, so you just, gradually grow. And it's better, even if you have just one sparring partner like that, trust me, it's better to train with them, even get acquainted to their style and, for a while, than just have many sparring partners, but really just being randomly um, exposed to different uncomfortable situations. Okay. Chat is going fast, guys. Will Connor ever even come back? I won't watch if he comes back. Well, fair enough, Benjamin. I don't blame you. In capoeira, I don't really watch capoeira in that way, so I'm not really sure. Or are you talking someone in UFC? Still can't really recall. Yeah, I think it's possible Mike Tyson will go then in a long time history books. I think he already is. My problem is the people who think Connor didn't come to fight. Come on, he would not be there if he were not there to fight. No, I don't think that. I think that was very frustrating. Like, you could see Connor being like kind of what the fuck too. I don't think Max blamed him either. It's just happens sometimes. Those kind of injuries happen because of the mistakes. And well, as I said, it's better not to risk those. Too much jumping, too much, some crazy stuff. Unless you're just engaging. like, but yeah, for Connor, that was just a little bit silly thing to do after such a long time in activity. It would be better to warm up and start it safer and just, get acquainted and actually, get into a fight. I'll definitely subscribe. You got a new fan in me. Hey, Justin, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and welcome to the channel. Hello from Louisiana. I'm in Alaska working on the offshore oil rig. I remember that. And hello to your husband. Hope all is well. Thank you, Patrick. All is great. Kickboxing and boxing is all very good, but BJJ without good wrestling, it is not in my mind impossible to not have. I didn't get the plus part, but you probably mean that without BJJ wrestling, you cannot really be a complete MMA fighter, which I agree with. I do land my press. Actually, the other day did good strength training. Fair point, Starborn. I agree. Respect for anyone who steps in the ring or octagon. That's true. You for sure know what you're talking about. Well, at least I try to base my opinion on facts and common sense. And if I'm mistaken, I usually just admit it. Or like if I didn't know something and if someone else points out. That's why I like live streams, because someone might point out something that I missed, and then it's just it's a better, more information to me, and I always base my opinion, like try to do that fairly, and with some common sense. I definitely can tell you more about boxing, and the more that I've learned myself through the practice too, I can talk from personal experience of those stages you go through, but also as like in the boxing, I'm way more specialized. And officially, I'm a professional boxer right now, so why not? I can talk about it more confidently. With MMA, with mixed martial arts, I understand the logic of it, and I think I can describe a lot of the backgrounds of it, and actively too, like certain things, and but not as deeply as an MMA analyst, a coach, or even MMA fighter really do. Like a lot of times I talk with MMA fighters, I always get very good, very interesting insights of perspective, that, this thing actually matters and that thing actually matters. So yeah, we're here just to talk, and we're free. We live in a free countries. I'm in Vietnam. It's a communist country, but it's quite free country. So yeah, we can talk about anything in the internet in that way and share our opinions. I put Lennox Lewis as the best skill, but I wonder if he will be remembered. You're talking about heavyweights probably. Well, Lennox Lewis is known student of the Kronk's gym, Emmanuel Stewart basics. Good for the long-range boxers, and great jab, great setups, nothing too flamboyant, just strict basics, and polishing them to the perfection. That's the base of his style. Lennox Lewis was great. I think in boxing it's so interesting. You have some undefeated records, but you also have some boxers that were the best in something, like some names that come to mind, like Larry Holmes, for example, one of the best jabs out of, I think, all the weight classes. And you have some of the volume punchers, like Joe Calzaghe, undefeated boxer, but he's volume, like punching volume, the amount of the punches he was throwing is one of the highest out of recorded ones. And you have some record holders in the boxing, the highest knockout rate proportion, like this and that. It's just boxing, the best head movement. Before there was Mayweather, which is arguably also, he's already in the history books and the school books for boxing. My friend introduced me to Nicolini Locci, boxer who's like older. I think that was the boxer of the Raw. No, even early, even before Mayweather Senior, and before that. But he was known, his timing of the head movement and how effortlessly he would dodge punches, and he wouldn't even throw that many punches. Actually, his whole boxing was based on frustrate their opponent to one of the best head movements, in the history. So yeah, boxing is way more stacked with hidden gems than I think we all realize. Like I find some new boxers for me, but old ones that I never knew before, and I'm like, every time I'm like, wow, they're like the story, the person, their abilities were fascinating, not only for that time sometimes, but even by the modern standards. White women are so beautiful. Thank you. I guess beauty is subjective but objective at the same time. Yeah. Are you the painter? Yes, I am. I'm that boxer who paints, or that painter who boxes. Choose the one you like. If two identical fights meet, what decides the winner? Oh, that's a good question. Usually, if
Living
this
examples like rooted in a way of just fight.
Nakatani,
Yeah, that was a
similar-ish, yeah.
very, very similar style, and they ended up like nullifying each
Yeah.
other.
Well, I would say to me the several, the quite a close, one of the greatest trilogy was Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti. I mean, at least when they got to the brawling point, because sometimes you might have, in the beginning, it seems like you have different styles, but once you get into, so the boxing, the process can go differently. Whether one boxer takes initiative and they, whether do defensive game or they do very efficient offensive game and the other boxer can't do anything, so they kind of take the whole advantage. Or the second scenario is you have two boxers that kind of fall into same thing, and that usually turns into more of the gladiator type of war. So when that happens and when it becomes, the styles become more identical or mirroring of one another, it really is up to stamina, willpower, and the will to win. And the physical strength. I think the one who is physically more powerful, stronger, the one who lay just the heavier punch, basically. But also, again, it also depends on the willpower too and the stamina. Sometimes you're a harder puncher, and yes, some punches went through, but then you gas out faster, and the other one has a better stamina. So those factors, I think, step more into the role heavier than the timing and technique and the speed and everything else when it gets to that point. I don't know if you got my point. Please let me know in the chat, but that's how I see it. Stop being modest, Diana. You know what you're talking about in terms of martial arts. Thank you. Appreciate it. I mean, I guess at that point, yeah, I know what I'm talking about, but I'm still learning, and I'm always going to keep learning myself. That's kind of always be a student, even if you're a master, always remain a student. Is speed useless without timing? Technically, yes, because timing is not only within punching, timing is also within defense. So let's say let's say Max Holloway points the finger and you start like blah blah blah, and let's say you're faster, but he dodges all those punches and they just throws that one punch. One of the boxing examples that come to my mind, because it's, some fights I don't remember that I watched, but some fights I rewatch some highlights, and it was one of the fights between Morales and I think Morales, yeah, and Pacquiao. They had like 4 fights, and one of the fights I think he won, and he knocked out Pac-Man. He didn't have a better speed, he didn't have a better volume, but he just timed somehow, timing was perfect. One punch knockout. So I think speed is great, don't get me wrong, but don't waste that speed without timing on nothing. That's kind of the point. It's better to, when you start throwing and just go bam, 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 but you realize that you miss most of them and you just exhaust yourself, it's better to pull it back and actually stop and readjust instead of wasting your energy. Hi, Colombia. We all are capitalist society. What's like, even here in Vietnam, it's a communist country, but guys, you come here, it's a full-on capitalism here. And they managed to combine those two, and it's quite a functional country. A lot of foreigners, a lot of Westerners like to come here, even marry in here, which I don't think is the best idea, but yeah, people just love living here. But yes, the Mike Tyson was coming in with this uppercut. Tyson's uppercut, it's like devastating, pure speed. I would not even. It wasn't just it was velocity, because it was like with his mass and body mass distribution, it was velocity. It was literally power so efficiently generated via speed. So it's yeah, very interesting, because you have some fast boxers, but they're not that powerful. They're just fast, they're just gonna. They're fast, basically, and it's good in amateur boxing. I would say that's a lot of amateur boxers with that background do that thing. But what Tyson would do, he would also deliver that devastating power. Yeah, Tyson was a scary dude in his pride. Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar, tough. John Jones, baddest man in the world. I don't know Melanie Martinez. Sorry. Maybe I know her songs, but I don't know like her as an artist much. Can losing make champions stronger than winning? If if you reflect on it correctly, then yes, you learn so much more from a loss. And I'm very happy to find out that, well, I did my debut. I didn't win that debut. There were some other factors apart my inexperience too, because even my new team, my former opponent team, but now my current team, they told me, you're a good boxer. We just need to build a strategy and get you really, like, we need a proper plan for you. And well, I was lacking a little bit of that. That's why the camp and the team, people around you really matter. So at certain stage, even if you're very smart and your reflection and your analysis is, I think the athletes should do that. I think athletes, the fighters themselves, need to be smart about their game, but they need help. That's inevitable at a certain point. But that loss, for example, for me was like, oh, I realized I don't hold grudges. That doesn't break me. It doesn't break my ego. I think I was like quite chill from the beginning, in the sense that, okay, if I lose, then what? Like, you're gonna hate the other girl? Of course not. So when I came to her and like congratulated her with like completely like, yeah, good fight, thank you. This like, what happened. She started respecting me because she thought I would just, it was all talk and now I would get back to singing and painting. But then she tells me that you're so like grounded inside that I want you to win, and you can win. You're so chill about this within such a short time. So we built a relationship, and I moved to the new team, and I already getting the training that I need and the people around me that I need. I took so much from that experience that this one loss, but that specific fight gave me more experience than 10 easy paper wins would, if you know what I mean. And in boxing, that's kind of the thing. You need some easier wins. I understand that for confidence and for experience. But if you want to really level up, whether it's a win or loss, you need harder fights. You need someone, like, you need the level up of the opposition. Chris Diana, am I wrong for thinking Floyd is the best technical boxer, special defense, but who is the best all-rounded boxer? No, you're not wrong. Also, you have like if you look at Floyd as purely as a boxer, he also has Pretty Boy era. Pretty Boy era was entertaining. Floyd was knocking out people. It was way more aggressive and still technical and like beautiful boxing. And then you have like a more money era, and this is where his defensive boxing started like really peeking into, like a calculated, cold-blooded, as less damage as possible and as much damage to opponents through the defense. So No, Floyd is no doubt, if not the best, then one of the best. Like, when I say in boxing one of the best, I just think you can always find, and Floyd is also quite well known. There's some boxers that are not as well promoted, and they're spectacular. That's what I mean, you know. And some of them are champions, WBC, WBA, IBF. They're champions, but people don't really know them as much. It's just that this is a marketing side of it. Some stars were just marketed better, or they were tailored specifically to be marketed, and some of them were not. And you need to be more of the dedicated boxing lover to, you know, dig out some of those gems. That's why I usually say one of the best. It's really hard to say the best. Like, I used to say, oh, Tyson was the best for me, or like Ali was the best. But the more you look at it now, it's like, that's the thing, you know. Like, it's hard to say the best. You can put them in the top, but like alongside some other of their rivalry they would get in their time, you know. Okay, scrolling up. Love your channel, thank you very much. America's capitalizing with the World Cup, huh? That was a fair point. Said my country, Norway, did not qualify. Oh, you're from Norway. Well, my husband Chris is Norwegian too, and we were chilling. We're not the soccer / football fans at all, but man, we love Haaland, and we love the Norwegian team, and I just like Norwegian people's attitude and their preparation. They're producing one of the best athletes in the world in different fields. Now it's football. All of a sudden, this generation qualifies. You know what? Next time they might even go further. They have one of the best endurance athletes. What was the guy, the highest VO2 max recorded in the world? Yeah, Christian Ingebrigtsen. The guy, you look at the guy, you wouldn't even think that he's an athlete, but the guy, like, he finished the Ironman, the longest race, like in 6 hours and something. Yeah, when the
6 hours 30 minutes, but that was with like a lead crew and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you can have people running in front of you to make it easier to run, all that kind of stuff. But still, I mean, 6.5 hours in an Ironman, put that into context. Someone like David Goggins does an
Yeah.
Ironman in like 11.5 hours.
So yeah, almost twice as much time. So yeah, Norway's attitude, their science, their kind of base approach, I think they have less ego than others. I really do think. I think their just personalities more of the, you know, efficiency and like make it science based and do right things. So yeah, I think that's why we loved, like, a lot of people just loved Norway and their performance, and yeah, looking forward to. This is also the country my children is gonna be Norwegian and maybe Georgian, but you know that the 100% gonna be Norwegian. So that's again, that's a very kind of interesting country for me. Can reputation become a weapon? Reputation is a weapon, is the power, it is an influence, so yes. And reputation is something that needs to be, you gotta be careful. Because a lot of people ruin their own reputation by themselves, with their own actions. That's what I think. Agent Scully from X-Files? Yeah, here I am, hello. Good morning, hi Miranda, good morning. Sorry guys, it's quite a big chat, so I'm just scrolling, and pain is temporary. Why does it control so many fighters? Pain is not temporary. I'm gonna pinch myself, and it hurts. Our bodies hurt. Our bodies hurt, and during the fight, especially in the MMA, when it's like a lot of bone contact, like knuckles, so skin to skin punches and kicks, impact basically. It hurts, it's painful, and it stops you. Pain creates the resistance. That's why I was saying that the training sparring should not be, first of all, damaging and giving you a long-term CTE, and second of all, it shouldn't really create a lot of pain, because it's gonna create resistance and you're not gonna learn anything. So that's why, uh, yeah, pain is always there, and it's so easy to cause pain. That's but as a fighter, you learn how to tolerate it, you learn how to minimize it, you learn how to avoid it. That's why you have defense, and so on. You will win if you drop your whole consciousness into your body while in the ring. Try it and as an experience in your next fight. I will do, but what I also do as a background work is we're gonna build up a proper plan for me. I really didn't have a lot of things. When I stepped in, first of all, I didn't even know my opponent's exact background. She herself shared with me she has 70 amateur boxing and kickboxing fights combined in the past, and she was the Russian national team member in boxing. My team failed to, my former team failed to tell me about that. And there were some other things I'm not going to talk about right now, but this is just unacceptable. So the thing is, with this team now, I did one sparring session with them. First of all, it was fun. Second of all, already, they pointed out certain things that, for example, the Hoa, the own gymmer, he stood the one round with me, and he would just jab me. And he has that heavy jab. He's not even committing, but unpleasant jab like guys have, and sometimes they're like, oh, okay. And I move, and I'm like, sometimes I do like just a lot of core movement, A lot of things I trained also is just to be able to do those. Like before, I was not move very good on feet because I'd never trained it. So before the stage was just to train everything, just to be able athletically to execute those things if needed. Now it's getting down to the point that I don't need to use it all the time. I need to use the things that I already can do in the right time, right? So he's with me like this, and then in the pause, and he still gets me. Like I move that, but he gets me. He catches me every time, and yeah, sometimes I guard it up, but sometimes he catches me like clean with that one jab. And then Karina tells me that I'll tell you what he taught me, what he's doing right now to you. So when you have like side-to-side movement, like basically like Tyson-like, maetnik in Russian, so it's like a side, like, that kind of movement, what you do is you throw first jab to the chest. Interesting, huh? Not to the head. You're not trying to catch the head. You aim here, because here it's pretty much there, you see? Even if I move my head, my chest remains pretty much in set. So you do one, you stun the opponent, and when they stop, so it's like a moment you get there, you might not realize that it's not aimed to your face, but you stun for a second, and then you catch. And then, oh, okay, she told me that, and I adjusted. I started moving less, and I just got guard up, and I tried to just push more like straightforward and just move, not in all the time, but maybe at times when it would work, at some point. And this is how those little details really matter. They really do, especially when you don't realize it and your opponent does something to you without you realizing it. So it's very cool to work that way, and I'm very glad that's just one training and already certain things. The best part of my last sparring part, I'm also going up in the chat, the best part of the sparring part was all of a sudden, like, I just remembered that I can do posting jab. And Lomachenko would do that a lot. He would just post that one for a short time, not like for too much. And then he would actually more upright, so not like I used to get too much into like hunch down position, go down to low, jump up, like in like aggressive. Some of the overhands land, and yeah, it works, but in that weight class, I actually gonna face pretty much someone, in average my height, maybe a little bit taller, but still, being upright position and actually have a good foot fit position, it matters more because I can actually do those angle cuts properly. And I tried that in the end. Basically, I posted and I bump, like just straightly, and then all of a sudden I do the side and I actually twisted the Karina at that point, and and they told me, okay, that was good, that was different setup, it was a little different readjustment. So And when you see that, okay, that works against in this scenario, and that just feels great when you realize that, okay, this works, that doesn't work, but this works. Why? And then you realize, why don't certain things work? That's how the sparring and preparation process should be. So the long answer was to that question, that, oh, you kind of put your own consciousness. Yes, but you also need to build up the proper pattern and proper background for it. So it just pretty much, your plan, you're used to it, you've done it a million times, or at least close enough million times in your training, in your sparrings, and then you're ready to go and put that consciousness in. And I'm not going to be distracted anymore, because again, this time I know that I know the setup. I know that naturally I'm not going to distract it, because that's that environment, the ring, the size, the light, everything is familiar already. So it's going to be, that factor is not going to make an issue for me anymore. Hello, guys. They watched the documentary with Lucia Riker, Bittersweet. I know Lucia Riker. I haven't seen Bittersweet specifically, I think, but I watched some documentaries about her. She was the one bad, tough lady. That's for sure. Is endurance physical or mental? That's a good question. The body follows where the mind refuses to quit. The endurance is physical, and then it affects your mental. I think that's how it is, because you don't break mentally because you're confident. What happens when you mentally start breaking, when you start having some cracks, is when you're physically getting affected, whether your stamina or you feel pain. So when you get punched, you feel pain, you get disoriented. That's the first thing. And second thing is you just gas out and you're like, everything hurts, like your lungs are burning, and it affects your mentality. I think it starts from physical, affects mental. When it comes to mental experience and resilience, you can learn how not to overcommit. You learn how to avoid certain things. You learn how to, okay, you might get punched once and it's heavy, but the instinct is that the second one you will dodge. Mayweather says that I'm never gonna get punched twice in a row. I just want to I don't remember exactly if that's been the case for all his fights, but the point is that he understands that he might land one, but the second one has to, whether a Philly shell or something, it needs to be ingrained within the style, right? And then when you have those skill sets, yeah, you can affect your game mentally. You can actually turn the tables around. But if we talk about just generally, the physical pain and physical suffering when it comes to the endurance affects your mental state. Stacks music, I don't even know what's that. No, I don't. If talent is natural but discipline is learned, which is more powerful? I think talent is something. It's like a tree. You plant a seed, and it might grow fast. It might grow a little bit slower, but it grows. And sometimes it's about changing your attitude, changing your perspective, and start asking right questions. I don't think I was so-called talented in that sense when it comes to boxing. I always been talented with the art, so I definitely had some talent in me, but when I start thinking about it, it's just the natural ability to ask right questions and find the right answers. That is a talent, basically. But then you need to put it in the work, obviously. So in the sports especially, without discipline, it's not going to work. I'm going to tell you, even in the art, if you really want to become as high level as some artists are, you need to consistently paint and draw and sketch, and you need to be active. Other than that, like each of my paintings getting better because of that practice, and pretty much being more consistent than I used to be before. So you cannot grow that tree, you cannot let it flourish without consistency, without discipline, without commitment and execution. Can the boxer become trapped by his own success? I think so, yes. Your head movement was amazing. That fight, I was truly impressed. I appreciate it. Well, that's another thing that wasn't good in me. I think I just focused on the things that were bothering me the most. It was my footwork and my head movement. And you know what? I'm quite proud of being able to move the way I move now. Now it's just to make it more professional. We're gonna not just do it on instinct, but actually take from A to Z. The whole process gonna be approached professionally, and I'm like, at this point, before I have my opponent and stuff, I can just share it, and everyone is happy about live streaming, and there's no issues whatsoever. The guys are like, no, live stream anytime you want, and that's good. Yeah, anyone can trap. That's correct. I agree. It takes a very strong self-reflection, ability to self-reflect on yourself, but at the same time, sometimes you cannot even rely on yourself only. You need some people. Sometimes you just need surround yourself, not sometimes, you always need to surround yourself with the good people, because might be a time when they will tell you you're going too far, or you're too obsessed, or you're just too arrogant, and they're gonna put you back to the reality. So it's one of the benefits of having right people around. You look so Irish. I'm not, but I'm Georgian. My father is Georgian from Caucasus Mountains, but my mom is half Russian, half Ukrainian. She's very Slavic, and that's where I got my Slavic looks. The ginger hair is fake, but I have a Slavic, like a light brown or dark blonde type of hair. So it's just very, I just apply the hair color without bleaching anything, and it wouldn't be possible with the black hair. So that's how my hair looks, quite natural, because I just put the dye and just my hair just absorbs it. How great was Bautista? Thank you for mentioning that, Mr. C. Informally. Yeah, I was very happy, because I like Bautista. I like the guy. I like Corey Sandhagen too. Nothing against him, but people just brushed off. And I think that matchup was kind of 50-50 to me. And the fight was fairly close though. So when people were saying, oh, Corey is winning 100%, I was like, yeah, I guess, but like, Bautista, like, you don't brush off, like in this situation, Mario. So yeah, no, he showed, and he actually showed the resilience too, because first round was clearly Sandhagen's. Second one was, I think what the Sandhagen's team told him, don't engage in the counters, kind of go step away. But it's essentially what happened. He became too second number, like passive, and Bautista actually took a good initiative, and stepping in his comfortable middle distance exchange. So I would give, second round, I think it was close-ish kind of, but like more towards Bautista, and third one, obviously Mario took it fair and square. Oh, I knew he was gonna win. I don't know why, but well, sometimes it's a gut feeling in the sport. It's on YouTube, the docs. It's about winning but punching someone in coma. Bittersweet. I mean, I know Lucia Riker was as like a last villain on the $1 Million Baby movie. So that's the one I know, but like the documentaries, I've seen some of the documentaries. I'm not just sure if that's the one, the bittersweet one. I feel bad for buying the pay-per-view. Fair enough. Well, now you have Paramount, but to be honest, I watch it on the live stream, I have some Russian and some American like links, which is like it's a Stream Surge and Sport Surge and something like that. They're like few. You can ask ChatGPT actually, and you can find some links. Because yeah, you never know. you pay for it and you end up disappointed. That happens sometimes. Ah, okay. Lucy Racket is a trainer in the documentary. She was world boxing champion. Okay, I will watch that one because that's probably a newer one when as a coach after retirement. She was world boxing champion, but she was also was she a world Muay Thai champion as well? She was very tough on like as a Muay Thai fighter as well. Ray says subscribe. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. Welcome. If someone robs a store and gets shot, whose fault? A robber's one. Like, I don't care. I don't care what people say. I don't care who that is. If someone tries to... Okay, robbing is maybe... well, in most of countries, you don't have, like, weapon. You can't just shoot people, even that. But the consequences, like, the police definitely should catch the robber, right? But what if it's robbery with the assault? Like, if that person wants to kill me or my family, definitely it's self-defense. So the training is important, but when you get into the ring, you forget about all the training and let your instincts take over. Yes, that's a good point. That's what I meant by dropping your whole consciousness into your body. Well, to be honest, my instincts dropped to the factory settings. That what you saw in that fight, yeah, like the thing of winning rounds. Like I didn't win all the rounds, but it also was not too different in the sense. And as I said, there were some other issues as well, plus my inexperience, a little bit of euphoria. But that's why I talk about training. When you train, what do you train for? You don't train only. I'm not talking about stamina endurance training. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pattern training. And putting things into that instinct, like transfer, like or let it reflect into the instinct. What you saw was my footwork and head movement was quite good. Well, those things I really put since last year, so now almost like a year and a half of training that consistently and building it up gradually. It ended up to be in my instinct. Also, my hands dropped. Apparently, again, I didn't train my guard manipulation enough to. But it was again, it was a little bit the combination of I really did have that fighting euphoria, so it was a little bit surreal and a little bit slow motion too to a certain extent. So next time, that exact feeling shouldn't come back. I might have euphoria and like okay, the match and stuff, but still being knowing the plan, my corner reminding me the plan, and well, that's what they did with my opponent, with her. They were very clean. They knew exactly what to do against me. And they were reminding her not to try. She at some point she wanted to brawl with me, and they're like, "No, don't do it, don't." And she listened to that, and that's what I'm talking about. That's your corner is getting you better pointers, and what you're saying is well, yeah, put the consciousness in it. But I need to rebuild certain patterns. Like I'm not gonna come out with the same style as my first fight. The next fight is going to be, there's going to be a lot of additional things that I intend and I'm already working on, we are working on, and it's going to be quite different. So, yeah, I'm excited to show the improvement, just to have a next fight and actually have a winning fight. And I'm not going to be arrogant as, oh, I'm going to do this and that. I'm just going to do my best, but my attitude was about winning in the fight too. It wasn't like I was like distressed or not feeling great. I just kind of lost the track of the situation a little bit because by the time it was fourth round, actually at the moment I started pressing and Karina said, "I don't need it, you need it." And I was like, "What is she talking about? Oh, really?" And then I pressed more, tried to press more. She's like, "I don't need it, you need it." So she knew exactly that where they were at points and how they were like pushed, that she had that edge. For me, I didn't I was just like, oh shit, okay, I apparently losing. So that's also, that's definitely gonna be something that's gonna be fixed, and it's not only gonna be fixed by myself, but by my team. Like this team is not gonna, they have a little bit different attitude, so I'm definitely, not worrying about that factor for the next one, but also going to do my best. I'm like, I stepped on this one, I'm going to step even more, and with a better experience and with a better preparation, even with that attitude of winning and imposing what I need to impose on the fight. I'm not single, I'm married. Are you a boxer, boxing or MMA? Boxing. Can't have one without the other. I agree. Shadow boxing builds that. Shadow boxing is great, but to be honest, smart sparring work, and I would say heavy back for conditioning and volume, punching volume, and some mid work is kind of the must do. Shadow boxing though is something that I just like sometimes do for fun. Becomes instinctive. Yeah, like when you do actual solo movement, I do that with footwork and shadow boxing. I just do sometimes that for fun. It's outside of training. I just do it sometimes in front of mirror, and yeah, that helps to build the pattern. You're right. I'm not Tajikistan, I'm from Tajikistan, but I have a friend from Tajikistan, an MMA fighter, by the way. You look like a Becky Lynch. Finally, the reference of the Becky Lynch. No way, Becky Lynch, another one. Big time backs. Hey. I thought she was a Becky Lynch, but maybe it is her. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit younger version, but here I am. Number 3 today. Okay. All sports incorporate video observation to analyze opponent. Yes. Well, what I had for Karina was her 2 MMA fights, because she's actually predominantly MMA fighter, and that's the career she's building, and now she's like, she wants to get back on that. And so she more helps me with the boxing, and I offered my help when she's gonna need for a little bit MMA context too, but right now she's working for me now to help me with boxing. And what I was about to say, and I didn't know her 70 amateur fight experience, but that was back in Russia, and probably the times that it was not because I tried to look through AI and Google search, and I didn't find much of the information there. But again, my team also did not even ask or didn't find out properly that someone experienced. They would say that she's okay, she trains, or sometimes she trains like, yeah. Anyways. So, and this one was a little bit harder to have a good materials. For her, same. I mean, she just sees me singing, painting, doing some boxing, having some good movements, not underestimating me. They definitely didn't underestimate me, 100%. But yeah, she was like also, she didn't have materials to watch much either. So we were both a little bit blind, like having a little blind spot on that one. I really prefer to have for example, my next opponent to even have 2-3 fights ahead of me. I wouldn't mind, but actually being able to see their boxing matches and see where they're at. Another Becky Lynch reference. Yes, it's me. She's married to the cis Rollins, then she's a Becky Lynch. Well, it's funny. I look like a Becky Lynch. Chris looks like, when he has a donut shape, he looks like the Stone Cold Steve Austin. Babe, are you awake? Okay. Okay. She's Diana, and she's professional boxer. Aidan Chris, by the way, is my husband here. She's married to me, and I've checked. She's not Becky Lynch. What do you think when an adult uses pacifier to sleep? You mean for the sleep apnea thing? That's what you mean? If it's essential, it says sleep is the most important thing. Whatever you need to sleep well, you gotta do it. Do you talk Portuguese? No, I don't. But my husband does a little bit. Nice hair, glamorous eyes, deep lips. Thank you. Chris Diana, are you fans of WWE since a lot of Becky Lynch references are brought up? To be honest, not really a fan, never been. But I watched, recently we watched, I think it was a Netflix documentary about It's like a McMahon clan and how it was, how it like the WrestleMania and like all this rivaling promotions for professional wrestling. And let me tell you, I really gained the respect. Before I couldn't understand because I would look at it as the fighter. I was like, I mean, it's obviously rigged and staged. What's about it? But then when I looked into it, how hard those stunts are and some of the crazy stunts they've done, this is even tougher in some sense. It is tougher than an actual fight. It's purely physically, at least, you know. So I gained a huge respect to professional wrestlers. I'm subscribing. You're the real deal and down to earth. Neo, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Um, it's also because I try to be the way I am, and well, most of people are interested into cheap entertainment and OnlyFans chicks and that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you guys, people who subscribe my channel. I think we all are a little bit of real deal, don't you think? What's the worst punch you took? I think I don't take much punches on my left side, to be honest. So I think the left hook is the one. Whether it's southpaw or orthodox, like southpaws like to throw that left, like overhead, or so it lands more on the right. So my right side, left hook or overhands are the ones that I getting. I mean, I try to protect myself, but I think those punches usually also land the most often. Voice feeling good. Yeah, I've been told that I have some good soothing voice. Hi Argentina. Well, congratulations and good luck on the whatever is left in the World Cup. You're Slavic, no, or West European? I have Slavic roots, so I'm Georgian. I'm Caucasian, like from Caucasus Mountains. From my father's side is Georgian, and my mom is half Russian, half Ukrainian. So this is the looks are hers. If you saw my dad next to me, I might even live stream once together. You will see that we might have some little bit of similar features to a certain extent, because when he was a kid we actually looked alike a lot, but he has like a black grayish hair now and he's like darker skin, and yeah, I didn't inherit much of the looks from my dad, neither my sister. Peace be upon you all. Same, sir. Thank you. Okay. I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body? Your body breaks first, and it just affects your mentality and it affects your spirit. That's not the other way. Why would your spirit break without any discomfort? I mean, it's very rarely people obviously sometimes lose the winning fights when they win, but even there, how that happens, how the breaking point happens, whether through they get tired, so endurance issues, and they start feeling slower and fatigued and just suffering.
That's just a quote from Batman.
No, I know it was the quote, but I'm just saying about the. So there was a question before, but I'm repeating it one more time. But don't you agree? It's physical pain when you get punched, and it's painful, and it's your endurance. Those two factors affect your mental resilience in the fight. Hey, Sham, thank you very much for the super chat donation. That's very sweet. How about Whittaker's light heavyweight debut? You gotta, which Whittaker? You're talking about the Robert Whittaker, the UFC fighter, or the Ben Whittaker? I don't remember Ben which.
No, it's Robert there.
Yeah, it's Robert, I think, because he was in the middleweight. Now it's like a light heavyweight. Uh, I don't know who do we have in light heavyweight right now. We have Prohaska, we have um, Ulberg as a champion right now. I think Ulberg might be able to actually defend his titles. I think that guy was kind of like overlooked a little bit, and he definitely has a good precise timing. Who else we do have in the light heavyweight?
Yeah, it was on
Squad.
329.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, no, it's gonna be interesting.
No, but I think he's already fought.
Oh, did he? Because I don't remember if he fought or not, because I haven't watched it and I haven't really looked into the card, so I don't really remember it. Like all the fights I watched was.
He was on the card yesterday.
Okay.
I see interview with him now, sitting behind the
Okay.
Connor to.
Okay, yes. Then I'm just like completely. To be honest, again, I just missed completely that he was fighting on this card. So, well, congrats with the. He won, right?
Yes.
Okay, congrats with a good debut. If it's a win, it's a win. It's that it means it's a successful debut. Main event following McGregor, it was just silly. McGregor thought that he could do the thing like the young boy he was years ago before that injury, but that apparently was another leg too, which makes it even sillier because he tried to do something like just hop in. Just don't do that. Have a safer but more precise time-based game. That's. I don't think Conor it would be impossible. It was just so silly, like what happened that now people kind of take it as like, oh, Conor is done. To be honest, we didn't even see what could be. Don't you think, babe?
Say that again.
We didn't even see actually. If that was a more conventional fight and Max would start like really beating his ass, you could say, okay, yeah, he's done. Well, here he just did the silly thing that kind of we didn't even see anything. What did we see? He jumped in like he would do when he was younger. He would do it a lot of times. He would just do like that kind of offense. Doesn't mean anything, neither bad or good, except he wouldn't injure himself. And after 5 years of inactivity and some previous heavy injury history, that just wasn't the smart thing to do. That's what I think. Not expecting your opponent to do so well at hurting you can be devastating when you realize you could very well lose. Yeah, that's true. Underestimating your opponent. There is two things. There is knowing who your opponent is and knowing accurately, and that's your team's job. Your job to a certain extent too, but it's actually your coaches and your promoter have to not fail you on that one. But also when you know someone and you underestimate them, that's not a good thing. And your team should like what I liked about Karina's team and well now my team already. They she told me that they made the boogeyman out of me. They made the toughest, the best version possible, like destroying the liver and like killing it and really be very, very dangerous version of me. And that's how they prepared her, like to what to do against it and be ready and be all times focused. And that's what she did. She didn't have I don't think she had any single moment in that fight that she would like really lose. Yeah, there were a couple times I would get closer or like pin her, but not in that she would still. And by the end of like its third, fourth round, she actually saw some of my openings or some of my patterns, and she really caught me well on few some of those few mistakes or openings. So um, yeah, I was just saying that I like that attitude, and I think your team, even if the opponent is not that good, it's better to be over prepared and overestimate your opponent to a certain extent than opposite. Terrence versus Green was disastrous. Again, haven't seen that one. You can tell me what happened. Just the pure soul you are. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the compliments, guys. When will it be? You mean my next fight? I really hope within 2 3 months. I would love it, but we'll also see how the guys after the next few trainings and like a couple more sparrings. I'll mention it. I say that okay, what can we do now and what is possible, because I want to stack up as many fights as possible, and I at least will do the next one for sure, at the very least, and yeah. Um, I gotta look at it that way. Reaction on Conor McGregor. I already said that I think it was very devastating, silly mistake that cost him a lot, and I think it was a little bit. He was too hyped up that we can just pull it off, and instead could be just a safer but more timing focused fight from his side. Because Conor always had a great timing too. He wouldn't only just do some stunt moves. He would actually, he had very good timing. If he would really get you in the deeper waters with him, he could outstrike you. So yeah, I think that's what we wanted to see, or something, at least glimpse of it. But yeah, this was a sad situation. Oh, Max is better. Of course it is. I had the win on Max because he's active. He's still at the top. Not very long ago, he knockouts the current champion, the one who schools two younger fighters, the upcoming prodigies. So I'm talking about Paddy and Tapuria. So Holloway is not, well, he lost BMF, but that was just a hugging match. No disrespect to Oliveira, but that wasn't a BMF fight. He lost that one, but we know that Max is not really a grappler, comparing to some of the like grapplers and wrestlers in the division. But yeah, no, Max is an active, experienced athlete, the fighter. Of course, like I think it was just logical. I think he would win within third, fourth, fifth round, anyways, depending how he would want to continue the fight. I really think that just Max would kind of dictate the fight, depending on, again, what he would want to do. Conor and Max are definitely going to rematch for Conor's last fight on the contract. Yes, he has that one more fight, and I think they're going to do it. I hope they're going to do it like he doesn't do the same thing, which he probably not going to. But to be honest, I'm not even sure. Again, I still have Max on that one. Hi, London, England. Hello. You're so pretty. Thank you. Too much money, time, and coke. I mean, Conor did that to himself. He didn't have to, but he did. Today was a great day for sports, RAF in Georgia. Yeah, that's true. UFC, Conor versus Max, and the World Cup. Yeah, a lot of sports. A lot of sports events.
Okay. So this is what McGregor now has posted. My head gasket, my head gasket is gone, destroyed. I had no injuries going into the fight. I was throwing kicks, planting and jumping. all throughout the camp as well as backstage before the fight. This came out of nowhere. I'm beyond the dark here. I can only describe it as no.
Okay, so there are no injuries, indications, and stuff.
That's just what he posted now.
Okay.
That's,
I mean, you can see that leg twisting a little bit better. With the leg, it doesn't happen exactly with elbow. It really reminded me of Pantoja's. Remember Pantoja against Joshua 1? He did something similar. He like did a kick or something and fell on his elbow and broke his elbow. Done. Like, again, that's more and more skeptical with those at least not in the beginning. At least you gotta warm up to, because that's what you do in the fight. You actually warm up a little bit after you start moving and do some kicks and punches and like, and your muscles, the stabilizer muscles also warm up and engage. So your brain kind of gives a signal that okay, we're going now. So doing it from the beginning, that's another reason why it's risky to do it from the very beginning before your neural system and your body is properly warmed up for the action. That's how I can describe it, because when you see those kind of injuries, it's just like how that person could even do that. They're like professional fighter. I mean, not McGregor's case because he was inactive at the very least, but Pantoja, like a reigning champion, and does that, like how the hell? But it happens. Like, you cannot even blame it sometimes on an athlete, but when we explain it, especially that it happens when it happens in the beginning, it's also due to lack of the, as I said, CNS and the body warm up. Have a good day. Thank you very much. I don't think I said anything disrespectful. If I said, you can point it out, but didn't mean to disrespect anyone. Okay, well, what time is it? I think, yeah, it's time to start gradually wrapping it up. Are you married? Yes, I am. Not you, somebody commenting to you. Oh, okay, Jess, got it. Yeah, so many. Listen, it's just people. You can. Chris is eliminating some of them, but we don't eliminate all of them because we don't take a lot of things as a disrespect. I mean, people talk, and sometimes they even change the tone because they see that we're not here talking nonsense. So they rather get eliminated or they adjust. That's how it works. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing? Brazil. You're beautiful. Greeting from Romania. Hi, Romania. Do you think Dixon Sider has potential to become a champion? To be honest, I really haven't looked into his background. So that's one fighter that I need to look into better before responding to a question like this. How you been? Hi, Jeff. Did you fight yet? Yes, I did. My fight is uploaded on my YouTube. I didn't win it, unfortunately, but it was close enough fight. It was a great learning experience. I even befriended my opponent and moved to her team, and now we're training together. So you might see some of the sparrings and the live streams together. And yeah, I really reflected on the things that I need to work on, but also nothing that is like, oh, it's certain adjustments that needs to be done and needs to be done efficiently and smart. But at the same time, it made me more excited because I also saw that certain things I worked on and just the presence in the ring and the enjoyment of it. I just loved it. I loved every minute of it. To say that I felt uncomfortable or scared, it wasn't the thing. If I was, there was nothing wrong. Like I could say that, oh, I felt scared, but like, I did my best. But I really didn't. Like somehow it just felt like kind of natural and cool. It was a very cool experience. So I'm definitely looking forward for more. Just next time, it's actually like winning and having all the strategy built for the win. So right now we're just generic adjustments to my game and not narrowing it down more to the style, like stylistically, not just do everything of a little bit of everything, but actually finding things that really really work for me. Um, and Yeah, then next thing gonna be when they get me an opponent and I know who is that, then we're gonna work on like focusing on what would work against that opponent. I'm an educated man. That's good to hear. People talk, but need to talk with respect. I agree. I agree. People, like internet gave a green pass to everyone to just talk whatever they want. And sometimes that's gruesome. But would you say that to the face? Even if as a woman, like you haven't seen my husband. Like even if you're not scared of me, man, in the real life, there are consequences, for some nonsense and especially disrespect, especially for no reason, right? So, but we try to set the tone here. It's not like we're ignoring our goal is to keep the chat clean and relatively, but that's the thing. That's why everyone is like, calling out that kind of behavior and just asking for not doing that. And in the worst case, we just kick out people. That's what we do. We have that power. So, but I agree. People need to understand that if they are disrespectful pricks in their lives and they think that if they step outside, they can do it outside of the internet without consequences, it's just not the thing. Yeah, don't be disrespectful, chat. Fair enough. You're prettier than Becky Lynch. Well, I'm at least younger, maybe, but Becky Lynch was very hot, very cool at some point. Conor will fight again. According to the contract, he has one more fight, so I don't know. They might do it. It's also a Norwegian name, Marius. Yeah, is it Norwegian name, babe?
Norwegian, Polish.
Okay.
A lot of different places.
Yeah.
But I know
It's common in Norway. I have some muscles. Well done. That's a sportsmanship. Yeah, I mean, respect, fun, and good community. It's. I don't think there is a need to be childish about those things. I really think that a person, a fighter or a boxer who care about their craft more than a win or loss in that sense. Obviously, you got to do the best for the winning, and you have to have a victory attitude. But at the same time, let's say I lost not because I lost because I gave up, but I lost against a tougher opponent, or it was like a tough match, and well, I happened to be to lose by like a little points or something. That's nothing to be embarrassed. And then as an athlete, the way you reflect on it, I mean, it's just a loss. It's not the end of the world. Like I like the gauges. I think it was when he was. I'm not sure if he was knocked out by Holloway or some other fight, but it was one of his losses, and he's like, why are so why all these crying faces? Like, yeah, I just lost, but like whatever. It was like I fought, and like it was fun, and it was cool, and that's kind of the attitude you should have, because this kind of people come back and then become lightweight champions at 37. Like, yeah, just do what you love and do it good and grow and get better and better at it. Since how many years you've been living in Vietnam? Almost 2 years now. Me and my husband been here. So you're talking about Dixon Mays versus Conor McGregor. I don't know. with Connor, there are a lot of question marks. We don't even know what kind of mental state he is. Yeah, he says it was good and it was just an injury, but again, because of that injury. So yeah, sorry, I'm back. Because of that injury, we didn't see anything. We don't know. So I don't know what to tell you about that. I mean, all I know is that uh, Connor, now when coming back, he didn't really get a fighting experience, like back some of that fighting experience at all. So I don't know how he might do against actual pressure. Connor's worse since his fight with Floyd. He really threw his Shotokan style and away and tried to become a boxer. Oh, that's a good point. Um, yeah, I mean that money fight with Floyd. I think he wasn't actually doing bad. Even Floyd complimented him. There are some good, some things that Connor did very well. Um, but it's again, Shotokan. He's that style. First of all, he can't replicate that style right now. No way. With one leg injury that is out of nowhere, and his past leg injury, so now he has both legs. You know, not at the optimal shape. So, to be honest, boxing like Taporia type of style maybe even makes sense for him. He still has that crazy reach. He still can use that as advantage. Just less hopping and less moving on the feet in that sense. More like a grounded, safer footwork type of movement. You know. Because yeah, at that age, with the injury history, you need to really rebuild or readjust your game if you still want to be active. That's all I'm saying. Or you can keep pushing the same mistakes and just, you know, it's not going to lead anywhere good. So it's like a tricky position to be in, to be honest. Connor will be back within 6 months. Will he still got paid from last night? They've got paid from last night. Well, they still have a contract, as far as I know. So I don't know what happens if he breaks the contract. So might be another one. But I don't think they're gonna do it in a while. They want to now tame it down, the disappointment, and they will need to hype it up again. So Connor is good at promoting fights, but after this one, it's still, they need to kind of wind it down a little bit. Great attitude for a fighter. Tweaks with the progress with the flywheel. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Look forward to your next fight. I will be watching for it. Jess or Taylor. Jess Taylor. How should I call you? Jess or Taylor? But yeah, anyways, thank you. That gives me extra motivation. I mean, I'm not being, right now I'm not at the stage of selling stadiums or anything like that, but I already have people who would want to watch it, so that's quite good. I'm quite happy to see that my following, they're looking forward for it. Repeating Chris's warning: no spam, no disrespectful bull-ish bullshit, or we will kick you out of chat. That's my husband. He's a strict man. He's a man of his word, so take it seriously. Who you want to fight, or can I pick? Well, if you pick anyone who's like a top contenders, I mean, I learned the value of the experience. So I realized that I need to stack up some experience before facing anyone who's like top 30 or top 15 in the world even, you know? Not because I'm bad, but I genuinely need that fighting experience. So right now it's just gonna be, but in women you don't have journey women either, and I'm like this concept of journeyman. Okay, maybe first fight, maybe two, but if you really want to level up, you need to upgrade your game. So, and your opposition. So in women, it's easier because a lot of women have 0-0, 1-0, 0-1, and you know, that kind of record. So right now, it would make sense to fight someone against 1-1 or 1-0. I don't care, even if it's 2 or 3 fights ahead, even if they had 2-3 wins against 0 and they have a better record than me, it's fine. As long as it's experience-wise, we are kind of close, and stylistically, it's a good matchup, and that's the thing. I think my team, the Hoa, who is the silverback owner, basically, he's a smart guy, and well, Karina, the way how she described it, he's very smart about picking the right opponent for you. Not in sense of like too easy or someone, but that's the thing. If they find me someone who I'm very too better off, I mean, I'm gonna be honest about it. That's kind of the matchup is, but I will still fight because I'm not gonna say at this point I'm not gonna say no to fights. To me, whether it's too easy, my level a little bit more difficult, it's fine. Like whatever it's gonna be, whatever my team's gonna think that I got this, that if we do everything correctly, we will do it. My mentality is straight. Like I don't have problems with questioning myself, especially when I have done a good background work. So yeah, I'm fine with that. And then certain point when I have like 5-1 or 6-1 or stacked up some wins and some confidently climbing up, then we start leveling up the game and really level up. I mean, when you are 6-1, you should fight someone who is 4-0, 5-1, like around that. Like I think that's my personal opinion. That's how it should be, because I've seen I've seen someone with a 9-0 fighting 1-1. It's basically feeding that other person to that, and I think that is too much of the gap. And it's also not good for the winning boxer as well, because again, you can fall into delusion of being very good, but in reality you've been fed easy wins, and then all of a sudden with your little level up and the expectation is different. It's completely different. So it's better to that's why I was glad to face someone who actually has experience of fighting and knows how it is, and even that I didn't win, I understood that, okay, yeah, like that's how it is. And I want to be a great boxer. I want to show that female boxing can evolve, like technically. We're not stronger than men, we're not faster than men, but what we can be technical. We can be, why cannot I move well on the feet? Why cannot I have a good timing? Against same competition, obviously, other females, right? So I think the more women bring up that women's boxing as a sport is not that long either comparing to men boxing, right? So that evolution is like, now it's the time that we have more female stars, but that has to be earned. It has to be earned. Like you cannot just tell people, oh, watch me because we want equality. It just doesn't work that way. You need to make people be interested, and that's what I like. Both boxing to a certain extent, like you still have to Katie Taylor, Serrano, you have Caroline Dubois, as an Clarissa Shields, you have those names. But also in MMA, that's like people want to watch Valentina Shevchenko fighting. People want to watch Dakota Dichua, right? Because their fights are actually watchable. They're interesting. There is a character there. There is a technique, the skill, and that's kind of is my goal. I mean, if I ever get to that point with, and if it's meant to be, and other factors also align, I want to be one of those boxers, female boxers, who you watch and it's like there is an evolution in the female boxing game. It's not just fighting and winning fights, but actually you can see that, yeah, that was like that is a step. There's one of the people. I'm one of the people who can contribute into that growth. Yeah, sorry for ranting a little bit, but what is your main discipline? Are you boxing mainly? I've done a little bit BJJ. I'm familiar with mixed martial arts. I did some Goju karate before. So I've been exposed to different martial arts, but more on the amateur level. Nothing like boxing. Feel free to ask questions, guys. Have you ever knocked anybody out? Also, how long have you been fighting? Back in the amateur boxing, there was one situation I actually put someone a liver shot, and I think it was, yeah, the liver shot. I don't even know how I did myself. And the once it was I knocked down someone, not knocked out, but knocked down. But how long have you been fighting? Technically, I just did my professional boxing debut. I've been preparing for it for almost like a year and a half, specifically. But I also been in a little bit in amateur boxing. So I first time stepped into boxing 9, 10 years ago. So I've been more or less around it. But in the last 2, 3 years, I really started training, like, and watching fights and approached it completely differently. Like I really fell in love with boxing in a completely different way. And not only boxing, but mixed martial arts and combat sports generally. And yeah, so now my kind of second journey, like new journey, started pretty much a year and a half ago. Thumb wrestler, that's funny. Congrats on your boxing debut. You did well for your first fight. When will you be fighting again? Tony, thank you very much. Hopefully next 2, 3 months. That's how I want it. But I also said that I will listen to the new team, the Silverback team, because they also have to find me opponent, right? To make sure that I fight somebody. So within the next few trainings, I will show more of like what I do, and I just want them to kind of give me a truthful judgment to what they think, and we'll negotiate. I guess I'll like try to explain why I want it within 2, 3 months and what I expect from it, and hopefully, yeah, it's gonna be that way. There's nothing yet, and I don't have an opponent yet, but I will announce it once I'm aware myself. Yes, guys, I'm married, and Chris is here in the chat. If you want to watch my first fight that I didn't win, spoiler alert, but it's a good fight. Most of people said that it was actually a good fight, and some things showed well, and some things that needs to be corrected also showed well. So a lot of people wrote different comments, you know. But most of people said that it was actually for a debut. It was good, solid fight and good presence. You can watch it on my YouTube. You can just go to the long form videos and find it there. Connor lost, but Connor literally knocked himself out, like with that injury. He did it to himself. Max didn't even push. He didn't even touch him when that happened. So. Where can I find your fight to watch? Jess, you can watch it in my YouTube. Just go to my YouTube channel, go to the videos, like long form videos, and it's like, yeah, it's one of the latest videos I uploaded. You will recognize this by a thumbnail. Connor pulled the Pantoja. That's what I've been saying. Yeah, it's like it was very, to a certain extent, very similar. But things like that happen. Like, what can I do? And to be honest, with someone who was inactive for 5 years and like living a little bit different lifestyle and kind of training last, I don't know, a year to a few months, I don't know. But still being non-acquainted exactly how it is, also being older significantly. Yeah, like that injury happening that way, kind of. It's bad to say makes sense, but it's not unlogical. Talking English, I do bodybuilding. Good for you. I want to get into UFC. Well, with bodybuilding alone, you cannot do that, but I hope you're training MMA specifically. At 38, I think Connor is done. That's the thing. I think, yeah, Connor is definitely not the same Connor that he was. But we didn't see the fight. We didn't see Connor getting punched, punching back, actually maybe reaching and landing those punches, because he was massive. Like I wouldn't want to be punched by Conor, even just without all his crazy footwork, you know. So we didn't really see much. We just saw exactly what, like, Pantoja Van situation. We just saw like nothing. So I still, because they have one fight contract, I still think it makes sense to possibly make it one more try. But they need really to guide him on the thing that, dude, you cannot do those things anymore. Like jumping, crazy shit. At least not in the beginning of the fight when you're not even properly warmed up. And I'm talking about like a fight warm-up. Fight warm-up is, first round is basically a warm-up. That's what I mean. And it goes like, that's why it actually makes sense to pace yourself in the first round. And there are a lot of things you should or shouldn't do in the first round, ideally. I don't know. It depends on condition. At 38, I was strapping. Well, Gagey is 38, and you see he's like he became the oldest lightweight champion, I think, in the UFC history. So, yeah, it's definitely individual. I think it was just specifically they talked about Conor in this case. You guys have no idea how much money UFC made from this fight. Only on Conor's name, it's a lot. But that's the point. So they have one more fight, and that they were probably counting it as a trilogy or something. And actually, also makes sense, because if they had 2-fight contract, meaning that they actually maybe expected Max to win or something, but they still, to potentially make more money, they had it as like, okay, we do the trilogy, and Conor comes back, and well, then whatever happens, happens. But yeah, they probably gonna try to make more. Technically, Holloway won, but we also didn't see much of the things. We just saw a sloppy attempt. But you can adjust. Like, Conor would pull off those kind of tricks before too. It just he was younger and not injured, and he was active before. Right now, he's also heavier. He's more massive. Like, doing those kind of tricks is no go anymore. But it doesn't mean that Conor couldn't fight. So yeah, they might kind of make this turn around, like around that thing a little bit later, after this disappointment winds down a little bit, and they're definitely gonna try to make more money out of it. You would have done better than Conor. I'm not gonna say that. You know why? Because right now I'm just like, I have one fight experience. That's not even a win, and it's boxing, right? When I got now in professional ring, I actually have more respect to people. I'm very more like, I'm more careful of judging others. Conor still had 23 wins. It's like 6 losses, but 23 wins in the UFC. Yeah, it was in his prime days, but the guy was a beast. At a certain point, he was really great. He wasn't the best well-rounded fighter. Don't get me wrong. I think nowadays you have to be a wrestler, and you have to be a striker and everything in MMA. But Conor was definitely, and he was also good at marketing. Like, he probably brought the most eyes of the casual audience ever. Him and probably second one, Ronda Rousey. I don't know, like those two, I guess. And yeah, just saying that, oh, that none of that skill is there anymore, it's not exactly that. The muscle memory is still there. There's certain things, if trained correctly. I think Conor's like, it's just so Conor-like. He just tries to pull off the crazy shit, but now he pays a price for it. He's not that old Conor anymore. He still can fight, maybe even win, with the right strategy, with a little bit more humility, with a little bit more wisdom. So I don't know. I think someone needs to guide him on that and tell him, listen, dude, you're gonna make money anyways. That third one's gonna happen. That's gonna be money grab. But if you really wanna win, or put a good fight at the very least, we need to kind of build a whole new strategy around it and kind of use what we got. My accent is, I don't know, something like Eastern European. In his nature to fight that way. Yeah, no, it's definitely is. Just, again, higher costs right now. Why don't you understand his knee was messed up? Well, he just posted that he didn't have any injuries, and that was his. I for some time I thought it was his old leg, the one that tibia and fibia was broken off, horrible injury. But apparently that's another leg, so it was just an unfortunate movement, completely pointless, just for some flamboyancy or some effect, and boom, he just lands poorly and hurts his leg. Like. And he said he didn't have problems. That's his words. I don't know what you're saying, but Connor himself kind of does not use an injury excuse in this one. Yeah, I already had my fight. You can watch it. I didn't win, but it was a good fight. You can watch it. I still suggest to watch it and share your opinion. Yep, he does not. I don't know. Maybe he's another leg injury would also show up, the old one. But we never see. We never got to see that, guys. I wish I watched the other fights. Well, to be honest, I woke up by the time the Sanhagen and Bautista started, and then the Saint Denis and the Paddy. Those two were quite cool. I mean, the Paddy one was very quick, but it was like a killer's instinct. It was Paddy proved that he definitely has a chance for a comeback. Yeah, that was a beautiful comeback, and he shouldn't be underestimated. Because he can catch you on your mistake and he can choke you out. That's what Paddy can do, and that's something you shouldn't put yourself in that position, especially the Saint Denis as a judoka himself, like a black belt in judo. Yeah, I don't like that was a little bit that was an unfortunate mistake, and yeah, Sanhagen Bautista fight was good. I like that fight. I wanted to see my boy Bobby Green. I'm from where he's from. Oh, that's cool, Matthew. Well, I slept through that one too. What happened to your boxing match? Please mention that. Well, I lost on points, no knockouts. Don't worry. And yeah, there were some logistical issues. So I moved the team. I befriended my opponent, former opponent now, Karina. She ended up to be a wonderful person, and yeah. It's just now I already have a live stream where we sparred and trained together, and there's like Hoa, the boss of the gym, and the very cool, like very fun vibe in the sparring session that we had, and already productive. They already pointed out certain things that I kind of noticed for myself, and I adjusted certain things, and it worked, and yeah, we're just gonna keep doing that. I'm personal too. Like I'm not a child to be carried on head. I always appreciate others pointing out those things for me, so I learn. But I also do a constant analysis myself. Like I break it down in my head as well, and always try to identify things that I can improve. Are you American? No, I'm Georgian, but not from the States. From the country Georgia, Tbilisi, and currently me and my husband live here in Vietnam. Pasta shape. Oh, I love any pasta. Pasta is great. I like farfalla and the penne. Red is harsh from outside, but she is the most kind-hearted woman on the globe. Oh, am I harsh though? I think. Um, well, Chris says, my husband says that only you can punch people in the face and then befriend them. And even my opponent, even Karina said herself, when we trained together and we got to know each other, like no ego, nothing. It's like no, oh, I could win the fight. Like none of that, you know, just moving forward, you know, future plans and good attitude. And she has said herself that, like, if I lost, like, I'm a little bit more harsh. Like, I probably couldn't take it that way. So the fact that you are like this, the fact that we're here and we're friendly now, it's a lot of due to like my, as she mentioned, my wisdom and my calmness and just, you know, just being a golden retriever human, basically. But I also appreciate her. She's such a straightforward, like, she now that we're friendly and I think like we realize both that we respect each other, like she's open about things. She told me about that certain moments that I could like continue on the certain combos and that actually could wreck her more. So, and then she admits to those kind of things. So I think you need to be very based yourself to be able to do that. So that's what, like, I think we just genuinely like each other now. Like, that's attitude, straight to the business, you know, things that needs to be done, no ego, that's all sport. Yeah, like first, right after the fight, I approached her, congratulated, shake her hand, and she's like, sorry for all this talk, you know, this is like the game kind of went. It's like, no, it's fine, it's just like a little chemistry and tension. But to be honest, yeah, there's like no bad, like no grudges there, and I like it that way. I prefer it that way. I'm not here in the sport to make enemies. Like, I'm here to make friends and build community, actually. So, do you drink cha-cha? I hate cha-cha. Ah. I hate alcohol. I hate all the hard liquors. I'm very non-Georgian and non-Russian when it comes to that. I don't like alcohol. The only alcohol I can enjoy, it's freshly made or like homemade wine at my godfather's winery back in Georgia. That's pretty much it. And I still would pick a juice over the wine or any other alcohol. Irish are brave people. Yeah, Irish are. So are Georgians. Game is a game. Yeah, no, game is a game. That's the thing. You train yourself to be fully focused, be cold-hearted. I do have that cold heart. I wasn't panicking or anything. I didn't feel anything bad or good in the ring. I was just doing. The only thing is, for the next fight, actually having a better polished strategy to win. So training, better instincts, because someone said, yeah, you drop back to instincts. That's right. My footwork, my head movement was instinctual, and I'm very glad for that. I always had the issue with that. But now it's going to be it has to be even more polished, if you can call it that way, and kind of be like, okay, that strategy, we win. And I'm very glad to join their team because I see that they're good at it. I'm subscribing. Hi, Danny. Thank you very much. Welcome to the channel. Are you single? No, I'm not. I have my husband. My beautiful, my amazing husband, and that's why I can do those things. So with his strong masculine support, emotional support, and financial too. Well, financial, we both are quite well off, and he makes more than I do, but I also make money from all the things I do, and just the peace. And when you have a good partner, it's different. When you have a family, we don't have kids yet, but when you, like, he's my family, so when you have a family, you have something to fight for, it's different, really. So yeah, here I am because of him. If I was single, I wouldn't be here. Women cannot fight. So cannot most of the men. It's, it's a funny thing. There's men and women have two delusions. Women, all women think they're 10, or a lot of women think they're 10 because, that was the trend. Oh, you're a 10 girl, you're a 10. And all men think that they can fight. Oh, I see red and I turn into. That's, sorry, but it's true. Sorry, I have to go to work. I appreciate you. Diego, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and have a good one. We already talked about McGregor. That's true. Quite a lot. You're fortunate to have a partner in life. Yeah, it's a blessing. Mrs. Singh willing to bet you don't fight. Hello, how's your day going? Bet, thank you very much. It's going well. How is yours? Someone to share the world with. Yeah, it's the witness to your life. It was in some of the older movies. That why people marry. And marry, I'm not talking about paper marry specifically only. It's just a document. I'm talking about like marrying, committing to each other. Why people do that. Why people pair up. Because we all need a witness to our life. That's like, I think that was the most beautiful definition. And someone who refuses to leave, even in hard times, and they stay. And so you both do. And yeah, it's like creating that beautiful life and full of peace. We both come from the backgrounds we didn't have enough peace. So look, in the family, there's a lot of fighting, a lot of there were not some good things, but we managed to build up. We don't fight, we don't argue about unnecessary things. We always laugh. We make each other like laugh. We let each other rest and have a peace, and we have a lot of common interests, right? Fighting, building like things together, art. Yeah, I paint, but he likes to watch it, and it's just the environment we create. And yeah, that's the biggest blessing. I think he fell asleep right now because he's not in chat right now, so I think he just. We didn't sleep very well tonight, so last night. I'm talking about trained effective fighting. But I don't think you said that women cannot fight. The thing, most cannot, but so do most men cannot either. I've seen quite a lot street fights from far. Obviously, I don't get involved in those kind of things, but people don't know how to fight. They don't. Most of people don't. The ones who know are the ones who train, and not even high level. A little bit of training is kind of enough to kind of know it on the basic level, but yeah, it's still a skill. You kind of need to work on it a little bit. How are you feeling about Mac laws? I expected it, but I didn't expect it that way specifically. So what is the really a masculinity according to you if you seek for family and choosing a man? The masculinity, first of all, is the presence of the man. A man who is not afraid to take the leadership role, who has his strong boundaries, who can be strict, but also his goal is he's family oriented. Men can be masculine, but also be kind of on their own. I mean, you've seen some masculine men like alphas, but they have a lot of women. They don't commit to anyone. This is just, to me, another level, like a real masculinity is, and real femininity as well, is when it goes towards each other and towards the family. So I always look in that context. So same for men and women. Real femininity is a mother, a nurturer, a strong mother too, because, well, sometimes you're a mama bear. You need to protect your kids. What if a papa bear is not there? Yeah, you need to make sure your kids are safe and you have their back. But at the same time, so femininity is like creating the home, creating the the like unify everyone. It's such a beautiful thing, right? So
Socks.
buying socks, which I always forget. Okay, you know what? I'll get the socks today. Okay, yes, I will.
See it and I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Speaking of masculinity, good sense of humor too. May make your woman laugh a lot. Uh, yeah, but no, Chris is. I'll just say about Chris. Chris is a man who survived something that a lot of people wouldn't. He was base jumper. He crashed. They found a cancer tumor in his body. They cut it off. Like he, the coma, everything recovery. A lot of odds were like he had. He was in the palliative care because they thought he would just pass away, but he didn't. And then this recovery period, and then this is when we met. He wasn't at his best. I wasn't at my best, but I was health-wise obvious. I didn't have any significant issues except I was vegetarian. And then we just started helping each other, building it up. And before it was more, like conflict of interest than now because we really stepped into our roles. I became way more feminine and nurturing because he was just from the beginning. He was like a rough man, rough, strong, and you know what? I respected him from the very beginning. I think that's the biggest thing. You gotta respect the masculinity. The true masculinity should cause that sense of respect in you, and a little bit of like you want to submit to them, not in a negative way, but you want to submit to them that leadership role and just okay, you take the charge. You are those seem to be, what you're doing, and that's the thing. He knows what he's doing. He's very great at finances, at structuring things. I'm more into. I can create art. I can, find other revenues. I can just make like I'm a side quest queen, but Chris is the one who gives the structure. And then when I step more into my femininity, meaning just understanding, listening, not arguing, just we both realize we don't like arguing. We both want peace, but how do you get there? That took a little bit of work and communication and stuff. And then now it's like I'm probably the most peaceful that I ever been. I think with everyone. Helps my training too. I'm very cold-hearted or focused and positive with the training too. Before I would be very afraid of a lot of things and that kind of stuff. And I think it affects him too. So now he's also way more like with me. He can be himself. And same goes for me. We can be weird around each other. There's someone said you gotta be able to be weird around your spouse, and that's what we can be as weird as we want. But definitely a masculine role, the masculine presence is like a rock, provide, protect, and set the structure. That's I would say. And I'm gonna complement all of it. Like I'm gonna amplify all of it. Sorry for ranting around it, but it's just quite a complex topic. Good luck in your career. Okay, yeah, no, it's fine. Thank you. Misunderstandings happen. Biceps flex. Becky Lynch, probably. That's the wrestler you're talking about. I'm doing well. Thank you. What was the topic? Family, female energy? Someone asked the question about what's the masculinity for you, and I just explained. Basically, I described my husband. And as a athlete, as a boxer, which is quite a masculine sport, how I at the same time managed to become the most feminine version of myself in the relationship with people. I'm a big time nurturer. Even in the trainings, there's no ego. Like even like with my sparring partners. I don't want to hurt anyone unnecessarily. I don't want to get like, because not because like I can punch or afraid to punch or get punched. It just, because what's the point? We all go through preparation. We all need to go through quality preparation, and there's no room for ego there. It's about communicating things, and like from my side, I'm not one of the women who will brawl with you. I'm gonna work exactly the way you work with me. If you're gonna work, there's this guy who who is very careful with women, and he just started like doing like almost like a touching sparring, and I did the same with him because that's like I think it's just how it should be. So I'm big time nurturer in everything now with everyone, and that starts from our relationship. I think I was way more defensive before, and I would, yeah, I would be way more defensive with people than I'm now. Mindful fighting. Mindful fighting is a big thing, and mindful training is also very, very important. I'm living in Vietnam. But okay, guys, now I'm definitely gonna wrap it up. I appreciate you all. It was a good live stream. I mean, yeah, the Connor, it was such a silly move. But again, he says he was confident, that came out of nowhere. Okay, fine. They have one more fight in the contract, so they might do the third one. I wish Connor, someone tells him, or like he just reflects on it and realizes that he can fight well, but he needs to be aware of those potential injury risks. Like, not risky flamboyant stuff gonna help him in this, only gonna cause similar situations. So just get in, focus on a little bit boxing, especially against someone like Max. It's gonna be a lot of exchange, so pretty much boxing, some kicks, and just build on that. And I don't know. Definitely McGregor is not same as like. There's no question about that. Not same as he used to be. However, again, if you just judge by that fight, it wasn't. It was like someone said Pantoja effect. It's like happened to Alexander Pantoja with Joshua One. I mean, unfortunate, weird, but happens. Didn't mean that Connor couldn't take a punch or punch back. Especially in the first 2 rounds, I think his stamina would be okay in those periods, and could be an okay fight, maybe even. But I had the bet on Max anyways. Like I had the bet on Max winning from third to fifth round in that range, depending how he would want to go. What you say about it? Is it really to produce workers and destroy families? Well, yeah, they actually did that. They used all the upsets in that period. There was like I mean, I understand women, because even if you look at sports, boxing was not allowed officially since 70s or 90s or something. Recently, women couldn't run the marathons and ultra marathons because they thought, they were told that their uterus would fall out, and also until 70s or something. That's crazy, obviously. So a lot of changes that happened, and a lot of freedoms as women we got. Like, I'm definitely okay. I'm happy having my own bank account and my own ID, and being able to pursue things that I want to pursue. But at the same time, what they did really do that to create more workers, more paying taxpayers. So basically, just by dividing families, they just decided, oh, let's just make it more difficult for people, but profitable for us. That's how it always is. I do believe that people get upset over some things genuinely, for genuine reasons, for certain unfairness, but then you have more entrepreneurial people who just manipulate it into making a good example for you. So I think, I don't remember, you might know, Sigmund Freud. So his nephew, whose name I forgot, was known as being a brilliant marketer. And what he did is he opened a whole new segment in the market for the cigarette consumers. Who? Women. It wasn't popular or even considered feminine or good or good behavior for women to smoke, and it wasn't popular amongst women. But then when this movements of the equality and those kind of things started popping up, they I think that they did this campaign. It was like in New York and like a carnival, like festival or something. They lit up the cigarettes. Like the hired women did that at the same time, and they were in the like New York's magazine, and basically they called that event the torches of freedom or something like that. So they basically what they did, they sold cigarettes as the freedom or liberty or empowerment. So that's how marketing works, and boom, women start smoking globally. Is it good? No shit, it's not. Like smoking is not good for anyone, but that they sold that idea. In reality, what they did, they just took more money out of our pockets. So I agree with you. I agree with you. As much as I don't neglect the certain issues between men and women, and there are like some like social injustice and things like that happen. That they're not unreal, but how we get manipulated by others up there, I don't know. It's like, it sounds like conspiracy, but it's not. If you just look at it, and it kind of makes sense. Like if you want to sell something, what do you want? You want to explore the whole new avenues, the whole new markets. Like if you could do that to children, you would do that. If you could sell things to children, you would do. Good night. Have a good one, Jonah. Happy to see women like this as mentally still exist. Oh, I appreciate it. Well, a lot of things, I mean, I learned English by myself, and a lot of things started changing for me. I started consuming a lot of information in English. But then when I met my husband, he has a lot to do with showing how things actually worked. First of all, because he's big experience and he traveled so many, and he lived in so many countries. So, well, obviously, I'm not the person who is like, oh, I'm not gonna learn because, oh, are you like, no, I always wanted my man to be stronger and superior than me. Why not? Because I can become superior. I can learn. It's like a luxury for a woman to be in the position that you can learn every day and get a better and stronger and more stoic version of yourself. And just generally, I think it's for both men and women. You got to surround yourself with the superior people, so you can become superior yourself. So your standard always going to be higher for your own self. And yeah, a lot of those things that now I reflect on, it's a result of me and my husband, our conversations, and he teaching and showing me a lot of things, and not teaching me without research. Like I would do my independent research, and I was like, okay, you cannot unsee those things anymore. So and at the end of the day, the truth is only one. There's only one truth. It can be presented differently, but the truth is the truth. And the facts are the facts, right? And when you start seeing those, then some people have like the bias, you're like, it's sometimes unbelievable. There are certain things we don't want to believe because it's like so against our old narrative. But again, that's what you got to train as a human being. The flexibility of your mind, that be able to challenge your own truths. It's one of my favorite relatively modern philosophers, the Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He was in the Nazi Germany. He was arrested and executed in Nazi Germany, but that he was writing about how a lot of educated people and high status people would fall into that ideology like nothing, because we all are exposed and we are vulnerable to so-called functional stupidity. That's his term, meaning that if we don't challenge, and that's the only way to escape it, if we don't challenge constantly, daily, our own truth, what we believe, or what we like to hear, or like all those, or our opinions, then we always inevitably going to fall under a certain narrative. Period. So yeah, that's kind of how it is, and that's our philosophy, both me and Chris's philosophy, that uh, try to challenge our own truth and narrative. And when we're both of like that, we help each other as well, not to go off the track. And yeah, like training, being physically and mentally strong, stoic, taking good control of their emotions, make less excuses, those kind of attitudes. That's part of my channel too. Like I talk a lot about those kind of things too, as the part of the journey in the sport and life as well. Again, sorry for the another ranted answer, but yeah, that's I think one of my flaws. I do that sometimes. I'd buy your drawers or drawings maybe from you. Well, if you want to buy or even ask for a commission, meaning that if you want something to be painted, you can email me. You can go to YouTube bio description on my channel, and there is an email contact email there, so you can basically contact from there. How did you fight debut go? I didn't win, but it was not knockout. It was decision loss. It was good, quite close fight. Some people think closer, some people less, but I suggest you to watch it. It's on my channel in my videos. Like I uploaded this long form video, and you can watch it there and judge yourself. But I also befriended my now former opponent and her team, and now I moved to their team. I joined their team, and we already started training together, so I'm very excited. Don't have an opponent yet, but I told them clearly that I want to continue. I want to keep going on the boxing specifically, and I want to fight within the next few months. Leave Switzerland. Cool. Higher power. Higher power, I'm talking about richer, more influential people. Not of course, not about the God or universe, or even nature on its own is so much bigger. Like you can be the richest person, and then the cataclysm happens, and here it is. So yeah, I meant high above, like us, when it comes to the power and money. Many years ago, we hosted a seminarian from Tbilisi, a delightful young man. Daniel says, well, that's wonderful. Please feel free to share more. Absolutely. It's easy to manipulate and corrupt. Yes, because what is the tool that they use? It's emotions. They catch us, or they create our emotions. What is social media? It's rage baiting. It's putting the information or twisting information the way that it causes certain types of emotions. Usually negative ones. So that's why it's not being indifferent. I'm not saying that we should just be indifferent and don't care about things. That's not what I'm saying. But we gotta differ. We gotta separate our own morals against the wars and people dying, and being sympathetic towards suffering people and poor people and that kind of stuff, and separate it from the narrative that they try to feed us, and actually challenging it and asking, oh, is it even true? Let me fact check it. And they're gonna call you the names, like, oh, you're this, you're that, just don't care. Just practice art of detachment. That's one of the greatest philosophies I so far learned myself. Have you studied about religions? I wouldn't say that I'm too deep in the religions, but I know I like some paganism. I've been studying a little bit of mythology here and there, the basics of the Abrahamic religions and the roots of it, the Hinduism and Buddhist, like in this part of the world, and differences of it. And yes, like I'm quite curious about those topics. um, I'm looking forward to learn more. I started reading quite a lot, and like just naturally as the hobby and as the like just enjoying the habit. So I read a lot now. So that's one of the things I want to do more of the research, so called, about that. But generally, if you're talking about like more surface level, like I can, for example, difference, what I like the difference between why do I like Buddhism, for example, as it's not even theistic religion. It doesn't have God as the thing. It's more of the um, acknowledgement of nothingness and their liberation. But it's more of, and even Hindus, it's more of the seekers religions in the Far East. Whether Abrahamic religions are too worship based, as much as I think Christianity ingrained, also depends on which kind of paganism it is ingrained, and depends on the culture, because Christian has and any all those bigger religions have slightly different forms depending of the how it ingrained within the culture and their past pagan history. But I would say that Abrahamic religions are more based on worshipping, and that's not good. I don't think it's good because it locks you into a certain framework, and whether you want it or not, people who worship too much, they lock themselves into that framework. There is nothing wrong of being a Christian, but also be curious about, be a seeker. You know what I mean? You can be Christian and be a seeker, but most are not, or you can be Muslim and Judaism might have very controversial views, but again, it's because general religions, especially Abrahamic ones, all have done quite big damages too, and also been used as the tools of control of people. It's one thing I know: you should always look at at the religion and study religion in the context of history. That's one thing that is like, it is a fact. So you're strong. Pretty girls vote Republican. Well, Republicans were definitely more based and with more common sense. I think like the Democrats went too far. I'm not even American, but even there, you understand that this separation, Democrats, Republican, and what, it's literally separates the country. And what do we know? Divide and conquer. Someone is dividing and conquering you guys. That's the thing. Oh, same happens in my country. We have National Party and we have Georgian Dream Party. Georgian Dream is ruling now. They still demonize. If you tell them, oh, you do your job bad, they're going to tell you, oh, but Nationals were worst. And that was like almost 15 years ago now. And, same, country separated still in this and that. We're divided and conquered. Is it in Ukraine email? No, it's diana.redheaddiaries@gmail.com. Why did you have to be married for? All the ladies I get along with are married. Well, that's because I think they found that they're the version of themselves because they're married to a good man, and they are also better versions of themselves. I suggest you. I was okay. You know what? My husband would call me before like when we just started like dating and seeing each other. He would call me angry ginger man. Obviously, we joke. We have a lot of humor in our relationship, but it was like literally, yeah, you were like angry ginger man. That was so much like more masculine, more defensive, more like suspicious of things, and but he saw some good qualities, and that's I think a lot of people cannot or don't even want to see through. As much I saw that, okay, he wasn't in perfect health, he was not in perfect shape at that point. He was handsome, obviously, but to me, but like he was not as good as he's doing now. But I respected him straight away. And his story, when I realized that it's true, got some evidence and stuff, I was like, that's a strong man. That's first I thought, and I saw that those qualities that he knows what he wants at that stage, and I don't think I ever met anyone like him at that point. And he saw in me that I'm the oldest sibling of my family, and I'm like also a protector, and I'm trying to. I've at that point of life, I have taken a lot of responsibilities for the family, financially as well, and like I would do a lot of caring and a lot of solving issues and basically I toughened up quite. That toughening up roughed me up too, but thanks to my husband now, that like that roughness went away, but that toughness stayed and even amplified. So try to look for a woman who is in the position, who doesn't have easiest background, who's not spoiled and rotten, but she might not be perfect, but if she has common sense, and even if she doesn't agree with you, she still can listen, or she still can find a compromise or kind of get to the common ground. That's a very good value, because I always had that. I think I like debating. I like to be a person to, kind of solve the issue and get to, okay, well, we should rather shake hands rather than just prove my point and stuff. I think that's a good quality, and just someone who is genuinely good and have those strong qualities that can get better. Everything else with the care and love, people soften up and they really become. It's like taking a person, washing that off the dirt, and seeing that they actually quite beautiful. They say they were promised 3,000 years ago. You know who says that a lot? Sean Strickland. Yes, 3,000 years ago, things were promised. But guys, I appreciate you. It's been quite a long, it's been three hours live stream. Where's the fight? I saw it coming a million miles away. I watched your fight. I'm curious regarding your strategy for keeping your hands down and not keeping a high guard. It wasn't a strategy, to be honest. I just dropped to the factory settings. And my corner wasn't really much I really felt alone there, and it was like so much in like fighting euphoria. I didn't even realize that I dropped my hands that low, to be honest, for most of the times. Usually in the sparrings, if you rewatch my sparrings, I actually have my hands more like I use my guard. But yeah, it was just my factory settings. Apparently, it was my footwork and my head movement, pretty much, and just throwing like single punches and just like pinning, which is not a bad strategy in some situations. It's just against this specific fighter, my opponent, it wasn't the best strategy generally. But I learned so much from this experience. I learned the value of the good team as well. That's why I changed the teams. That's why I befriended my opponent as well. And a value of the good sparring partners. A female sparring partner, a good female sparring partner is like it's a gold, it's a gem. And also having other guys, but also closer to my size, that is also like a treasure. So there were so many factors. I was like, let me join you guys. And they're like, come on in. And yeah, so because my inexperience plus certain logistic issues, all of that together, and boom, the loss. Because it wasn't a fight where I was like broken or it's like too much difference in this. There was difference in experience and different in the preparation and the plan. That's what I think was the biggest difference between us. So those gaps I now need to refill. I can't believe I've been watching over an hour without interrupting. Interesting. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I don't know how long people watch on average, but that's cool. If you have a low guard, you get more powerful punches, but you need to slip incoming punches more. Well, that's the thing. Not necessarily. Like, I think from that distance, to me, the one thing that works, and even actually in sparring, I actually found out when I sit under and then I go overhand. That's from orthodox, and same from the southpaw. Those are quite powerful. But other than that, from the a little bit like kind of, that's not my distance. My distance is now the biggest thing I'm working on is the right distance for me, which is middle distance, and it's a little bit tricky one. But once getting comfortable there, that can give a lot using more posting jabs. So this is what I'm gonna progress more on, because I have quite a good footwork, and it's a waste not to use it. But to use it, I need to position myself properly first. So be in the right comfortable position on my feet, and then I can do more of the angle cuts as well. And to be honest, from this position, whether when you overstretch too much, at least with my body type, with my stature, I punch way more powerful from the middle, even closer range, I would say, neither when I try to reach from too far. Pray just to listen from you. Appreciate it. I'm Georgian. Where's the painting? Guys, it's over there. I'll do the painting live stream tomorrow morning. So yeah, I'll schedule it in a bit. But guys, thank you very much. It's actually been wonderful. I appreciate you. It was the good live stream. Have a good day, good night, depending where you're from, and I see you in the next one. Ciao.